I love to see the towns passing by and to ride these rails neath God's blue sky. Let me travel this land from the mountains to the sea, 'cause that's the life I believe He meant for me. And when I'm gone and at my grave you stand, say God called home your rambling man.
Welcome to Ramblin' Man Podcast, episode number 57. This one is with Zak Goeringer. God, Zach, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. We talk about films and cinema and all kinds of things, kind of mix it about. If you'd like to follow him online, you can follow him on Instagram at Goeringer. That's Gooringer. I think that's 4 O's. They're not zeros, they're O's. He also has a great podcast called The Earth is a Cube and I Feel Fine. And I think the one with him and his wife, my cousin Lindsay, is called I Think I Get It, but I'm sure he posts about it on his Instagram, so give him a follow there. Our sponsor this episode is the Central Collective. The Central Collective is a mixed-use creative space for entrepreneurship, events, and engagement with Knoxville's creative community. Central Collective hosts monthly events like Good Sport Night, First Friday Art Show, pop-up dinners, workshop, yoga classes, pretty much anything they or people in the community can dream up. You can visit them online at thecentralcollective.com and look at their event calendar or sign up to their email list. We thank them for sponsoring this episode. Without much further ado, here's the episode. A little note up front, I want to apologize for the audio quality on this episode. Apparently my mic was turned all the way up, so I am blasted to all hell, so I apologize for that. Thanks.
Okay, so the question is, do you still watch dumb movies?
I mean, I do, but I mean, I don't know. What would you consider dumb? Like something that's like purposely dumb?
Oh, no. Like at Men in Black International, I'm trying to think. I've gone through was it Night School? With Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish?
Yeah.
There's a lot of those I'll put on, like, I need to lay down and relax.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put this on so if I fall asleep, it doesn't matter. I watched Aquaman while I was sorting through Yelp stuff here in the house, and I had it on the background, and I was like, okay, if I need to go to the other room, I don't care.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the perfect way to watch this movie.
And I see what you're saying. As far as like dumb movies, I don't know, like one of my favorite comedies is MacGruber, but it's dumb as shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's dumb, but it's incredibly funny.
Yeah.
It's, but there's no obvious discernible plot of anything. It's just an excuse for ridiculous jokes. And I mean, I'm sure some people will be like, that's dumb, but what I do agree with what you're saying. Like I do that with a lot of, like, okay, for instance, the last Ant-Man movie.
Yeah.
I put it on and I was just doing a bunch of other shit. Didn't even, and I caught like, the gist of the plot and the characters, but to me, it just felt like a dumb movie that I could kind of ignore.
It's like, I'm just waiting on Michael Pena to do that thing. He's like, well, I'm really drinking a rosé, but it's more of like when he does that. Exactly. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Why they didn't, somebody like Kevin Smith or somebody said before Avengers Infinity War comes out, they should just record a recap of all the Marvel films with him doing that.
Yeah.
Why the hell they did not do that? And just for YouTube.
Yeah.
Like if they had any forethought, they would totally for YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know. There for a while, I felt like I had to watch certain films. Like I've got to watch this. This is culturally important. Like the Men in Black, I was like, I never liked any of the Men in Black. The funniest thing is, I actually think the third one is the best one.
Which one is the third? Is that the one?
That's the one with
Josh Brolin?
Josh Brolin playing
Okay.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, because they go back in time.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like an hour and a half. I was like,
Yeah.
this is really well done and
Yeah.
has a great emotional ending. Like,
I felt the same way. Like I remember, right before I went to film school at 18, I thought I made a list and I was like, I've got to know these movies.
Yeah.
I've got to know all these movies.
I've got it 8.5. I've got to know 8.5.
8.5, Citizen Kane, La Aventura, it's just shit like that. And, you get to film school and it's just it's wall to wall, just pretentious little film nerds, and it's just yeah, okay, a lot, the cinematographer on, the 400 Blows by Francois Truffaut, and it's okay, but who cares?
Yeah.
And I remember I had a film theory class, and this dude got up and he started talking about how and he's an American kid, but he started talking about how all American cinema is morally bankrupt and just all about commercialization, commercial success, and all this shit. And he argued that his favorite movie was a Jean-Luc Godard movie that maybe 5 people had seen, and of course that's what he argued was his favorite movie. And I got up and I was just I will tell you why Die Hard is a better movie than that.
Oh my God. Out of all the films,
yes. And I was just I just sat there and I just went to town about how Die Hard is so narratively perfect, and there's clear, it's got a clear act structure. There's no fat. You don't have to trim. There's no need to trim any fat off of Die Hard because every scene matters, but every scene is also not pointless and sometimes you can get that with I love foreign movies. I do. But sometimes you can get that with quote unquote art house cinema.
Yeah.
You can get pointless scenes. You just can.
Yeah.
And, of course, if you point that out, somebody will say, well, you just didn't get it. And it's well, no.
Yeah. Yeah, Die Hard, and also the biggest thing on it is that you have a bad guy that is actually a good guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's so charming and funny and everything that.
Exactly. And it's just I thought, going back to your original statement of yes, I thought to myself I have got to see all these movies.
Yeah.
And I've got to watch them. I've got to pay attention.
Yeah.
I've got to be able to provide a critical analysis about them.
Yeah.
But then you get to a certain point and it's I appreciate Citizen Kane for what it did for movies, as far as technical achievements, but holy hell, is it fucking boring.
It's long, boring. It's awesome. It's amazing to watch, but it's okay because I see it right over there. So I have probably seen Citizen Kane twice, maybe.
Right.
But I have watched The Bridge on the River Kwai 25 times.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's and it's one that has a very slow, languid pace.
Yeah, definitely.
But holy crap, it still, the goofiest parts are some of the ones with, what's his name? The American guy. I keep on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't pull it right now, but some of that stuff, him on the beach, him being a playboy and stuff, but all the stuff with Alec Guinness is just insane.
Yeah, I agree. But
okay.
just your point, that's a good point that you made. It's just because I haven't thought about that in a while. It's just thinking I have to watch these movies and I have to pay attention to them.
Yeah.
But now, I'm friggin' 37 years old. I look, if I want to watch a movie, yes, I will put my phone down.
Yeah.
I'll put it on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah.
I will watch the movie. But if I just could, and like you said, you can look at a movie, just maybe you can read the premise of it and be I probably don't have to pay attention to this whole thing. I could probably do some other stuff.
One thing I'll probably get slammed on is I don't like the Star Wars movies.
You won't get slammed on that by me. So.
and I said, what was funny is I went and saw Solo in the theater, and I was it's a good movie. It actually moves. Yeah.
Yeah.
It actually goes. It has all the dumb points, like him, you know, how he got his name and all that stuff. It's like, but that's kind of the whole point of this. Like, that's the point. And everybody's like, oh, no, it was a terrible movie. I was like, no, it actually was. That's like people. I think too many people just default to saying something was shitty without it actually being shitty.
I think that's just but of course that's a bad, offshoot of our shitty social media culture. Sometimes it's just like, because this movie had a bad trailer, you definitely know it's going to suck. Well, what?
Well, as much as I love him, I've heard Kevin Smith essentially talk that way. I've been like, well, we all agree that's a shitty movie. Whenever they bag on like the DC films, like Man of Steel or Batman v Super, I'm like, no, they're still good. And if you watch the extended cut of Batman v Superman, it's a lot better.
I did, and Batman versus Superman has some gorgeous shots in that movie. Just like nothing that you would see in like a Marvel movie. I'm not like, I don't like to pit DC versus Marvel because they both have their merits in my opinion.
Yeah.
But there's no cinematography in a Marvel movie that I've looked at and been like, wow, that's impressive. And Batman versus Superman has got like a fucking handful of those shots.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, man, and Zack Snyder, for all his faults, can compose a striking image.
Yeah, that's what's so weird. Like Man of Steel, like everybody bitches about that. I'm like, that is a post-9. I said this to somebody the other day, and they're like, "Did you really just say 9/11?" I was like, "Yeah, it's a post-9/11 Superman film." I was like, he doesn't live in the 1980s Christopher Reeve's world.
Right, no.
He lives in a post-9/11 world where he would be seen as a combatant by the army.
Of course.
Like, all this shit. I was like, you got to look at it that way. You can't look at it as like, well, no, he's sad. And I was like, no, watch Superman Returns, and you'll see a mopey-ass creeper
Superman Returns. Oh, man, I haven't seen that in a while.
I think I saw it the one time, and I was like, I'm good.
That's a good point. I think I have seen that once. I saw it in theaters, and yeah,
and it's weird. I keep looking over at my Blu-rays because I do want to mention. So one of my favorite film directors in the last 20 years has been Joe Carnahan.
Oh, Joe Carnahan's great.
Because Narc, still that opening of Narc is
is
the most disturbing thing I've ever seen in a film.
Narc is
the opening of Narc is disturbing. A-Team is amazing because I've got A-Team up there. It's like it's almost like Ocean's 11, but with 4 guys. Mm-hmm. Like it's so much.
Yeah, Joe Carnahan's great. I love Joe Carnahan.
Yeah, and he's made all these. I still haven't seen that one he did, Stretch. But but like A-Team, I was like, there's all this stuff to where he just let the camera roll and let the guys make up their own shit. And it was, you could not cast that film any better.
No.
With Rampage Jackson, with Liam Neeson, with Bradley Cooper, and then Charlito Copley. I was like, you could not cast that.
No, I agree. And there were actually rumors that he was extremely close to directing Bad Boys 3, which I really wish would have happened.
Really?
Yeah.
But he's also a pretty big time screen doctor too.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
he does a lot of rewrites and shit.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm missing now is Andrew Kevin Walker, man. He had a run there for a while where it was like, damn, why is he not making movies? Like,
when he would put out a script, it was usually like something to pay attention to. And that's what's funny is like, you get that with directors, but I wonder if anybody's ever like, anybody sees a screenplay written by him, they're like, oh man,
this is gonna be legit. Well, it's like the new Star Wars. It was co-written by J.J. and Chris Terrio. And I think Chris Terrio's the guy who wrote Argo.
That's
I think that's what, Yeah, that he's worked with Affleck on a couple things.
Yeah, didn't he do like some doctoring on like Justice League or not?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think, originally the Batman.
Oh, right, yeah.
Was going to be, Ben was going to write it and direct it with some help from him. And then Ben was like, no, I'm going to let him write it. Mm-hmm. And then it just kept. Affleck's still one of the best damn Batmans because
I think you and I've talked about this before, but he was like the perfect size because honestly, Batman should be physically intimidating.
And he in the comics, he's bigger than Superman.
Yeah,
like of course, because he's human. That's the only way he can make this shit work.
Exactly.
God, I don't know. I think those DC films get such a bad rap of like, oh, we all just agree they're shitty. I was like, Wonder Woman was just okay in my book. I'm excited for the new one if they do. So if they do what I think they're going to do, which is, and somebody else said this, Mark Bernard or somebody said, they want, what's his name, Steve, to be Martian Manhunter.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, that would be very interesting.
Yeah, that would be.
I think it's Bernardin or somebody was like, oh man, if that's how they brought Steve back, was to have him be John Johans or whatever. I was like,
that would be
that's
really
a
cool.
brilliant, somebody needs to listen to that shit because that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Well, that's Kevin Smith and Mark. So Mark always comes up with these things on Fat Man Beyond, and he was like, stop making a better film than they're going to make.
Well, and that's funny that you say that. Like, I don't know how the hell, this is a bit of a tangent, but
Yeah.
somebody like Kevin Smith, who has such a fucking knowledge and appreciation
Yeah.
of all things comic,
Yeah.
why is he not approached at the very least to like flesh out stories? I'm not
Yeah.
saying you have to go to him for like the whole screenplay.
Or help with dialogue.
Yeah.
Like he's great at writing dialogue.
Exactly. But like, go to that man for for like if you run into a story problem or anything, and it's just like, come on, he can make it make sense. Like sometimes, I think my biggest, and I like the DC movies, but I think my biggest complaint towards them is sometimes like their stories are somehow overstuffed,
Yeah.
but rushed, or they feel rushed, and it's like somebody like him could really do a good number on some DC storylines.
So I'm trying to remember when I thought this like 2 years ago when they started handing out all these additional Star Wars trilogies and stuff. I was like, you know who you give a Star Wars trilogy to? Vince Gilligan. And you give him 4 years to sit in a room and break story with 12 other writers. I was like, and I guarantee you that trilogy will be the best damn trilogy.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're just throwing money at that, I don't understand, like, what coming out of that last Star Wars film, was it Rise of Skywalker? All I thought was they really did not think these through. They rushed to make them without actually trying to make 3 films that work together.
Yeah, and it's really weird because, for all the shit Rian Johnson took over Last Jedi, it feels like he is the one that at least tried to make something like semi-coherent, because Force Awakens to me is just like, all right, well, did you guys like A New Hope?
Yeah.
Do you want to see it again with some new characters? And it's just like, and then I haven't seen Rise of Skywalker, but I hear not great things about it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm not the right person to...
No, me neither. Like, nobody should come to me and ask me my opinion of Star Wars movies.
But I also think we live in a real world to where someone like you or I or Ryan, we know too much behind-the-scenes shit.
Yeah. And,
Because I think
fair.
of, like, Rogue One. I love that director.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
Monsters is amazing. Godzilla is better than any Godzilla film. Like, if you're going to make a modern one, how he focused down on the people.
I loved Godzilla.
And
I loved the 2014 Godzilla.
To where you saw, like, scope of how big Godzilla...
Yeah.
And people shit on that film, too. I was like, I was like, no. I was like, that film had balls.
Yeah.
Is what that film had.
I loved that movie. And, Gareth Edwards is awesome.
So
I would love to see more from him, but I don't really know if he's... Yeah.
But seeing Rogue One, I was like, I can see where they've cut. And what is it? Gilroy, I think, is the guy who came out. I was like, Gilroy's a great filmmaker, too.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Clayton's amazing. But you can tell they cut some of the stuff that was like, no, that's what makes Gareth Edwards' take on this interesting.
Yeah.
And it's hard knowing, like, I wish I didn't know behind this.
And, and you're exactly right. Like, sometimes, actually... a good friend of mine pointed out to me one time, and it like kind of shattered me, because we were talking about, we had just seen something. I can't remember what it was, but he was like, yeah, I really enjoyed that. And I was like, I thought it was okay. It had some structural problems. And he was like, do you ever get tired of knowing about movies on more than a surface level? And I was just like, yeah,
sometimes.
It really sometimes can really dampen my enjoyment of a movie.
I'm blaming Mom and Dad. So like I told you the other day, like Mom and Dad were into weird independent shit. Like Dad was, when Denzel Washington's Man on Fire came on, he was watching, he's like, I've seen this shit before. And we started talking about it, he was like, yeah. He's like, this is originally a film that was made in 84 with Scott Glenn that was some Italian film. He found it and started showing me clips. I was like, holy shit, he's dead on. I was like, how the hell did you see? Yeah. He's like, how the hell is on HBO one time? And because back in the day when HBO started, they don't do like now.
Sure.
To where it's Aquaman's on 6 of the channels 3 times a day.
Right. Yeah.
Like back then they would fill it and they would watch all these weird independent movies. Mom watching Dogfight.
Yeah.
Like that still blows my mind that that's her favorite movie.
Yeah. When you told me that, I was like, whoa.
She's the one who got me into Breaking Bad. I wasn't going to watch Breaking Bad. She's like, oh no, honey, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. And I started watching it going, good God, Mom. Yeah. Like, what the hell?
What do you love?
Oh yeah. She's still fussed at me. I just finally started watching The Sopranos and she's like, finally. What's wrong with you?
I mean, I'll tell you finally on that too, Jody. I feel like that's a bit egregious, buddy.
I know, but it was also the weight of it all because I knew it was going.
Yeah,
it's a lot of hours to devote.
Yeah, I mean that's completely fair.
And I was also a little worried that the older episodes were not going to be as good. That's one of those. Is like I feel like this is a show that could have gotten better because I knew it kind of started kind of feeling like I thought it felt like analyze this or analyze that.
Right.
I was like, but then watching it, I was like, holy shit, no, it didn't. It's a little goofier on the front end.
Sure.
I was like, but yeah, I've been watching it, but man, you have to focus.
Totally.
And it's
definitely not something you can be like, I'm going to turn
this on
Sopranos
and do some more.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Okay, are you missing any big films? Is there anything huge that you think, or as a film nerd, you haven't seen?
As a film nerd, like to get my credentials taken away as a film nerd, I feel like...
Or how many of the AFI Top 100 have you seen?
I've seen a good amount, except for I haven't seen a whole lot of Ingmar Bergman movies, like The Seventh Seal. That's the only one I've seen.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't seen I'm admitting it right now. I have not seen any of his other work.
Yeah.
And, I hear about what's his name? Ari Aster, Hereditary and Midsommar. He's like a huge influence on him.
Yeah.
And I would like to remedy that. It's just the idea of I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch a few Ingmar Bergman films.
And what is it? One of them, I've seen a bunch of them because that was the early days of Netflix. I would just load up a certain director.
Right.
What was it? Like View to a Marriage or something like that?
I think it's Scenes from Marriage. Yeah.
Which I think is if I remember, it's very long.
Yeah.
And I was just like, good God almighty.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get through this, damn it.
Yeah. And... yeah, I mean, my film nerd credentials will take a hit on that one, but I've only seen The Seventh Seal of his. As far as Werner Herzog goes, I've only seen Grizzly Man and Aguirre, Wrath of God.
Okay.
I haven't seen a few of his other documentaries. I haven't seen his narrative films. I've only, like I said, only Grizzly.
You haven't
only
seen
Grizzly
Werner
Man.
Herzog Eats a Shoe?
No.
That's still the funniest one. Yeah. I think the biggest for me is Singing in the Rain. I've still never seen Singing in the Rain. I think out of the top 100, I did the math, and I've seen 86 of the 100. And it was like Marx Brothers films and Chaplin films are the ones that I'm like, I don't know that I can take these. Yeah. Like, I'm sure they're great. Yeah. But
I think the only reason I saw,
Duck Soup.
Duck Soup and, shit like Birth of a Nation is because of film theory classes. But I'm not going to sit down and be like, I need to see Birth of a Nation.
No. Oh, God, no.
Of course, you can talk about all the techniques it pioneered, and great, that's wonderful. But how you're going to feel good watching that movie, I don't really know.
I'm trying to remember, what was the Hitler film?
Oh, God. Triumph of the Will.
Triumph of the Will.
Leni Riefenstahl.
Yeah. That is a twofer.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So it's
back to back. I want to watch Birth of a Nation and Triumph of the Will.
When I was in college, I bought a copy of Mein Kampf because I was like, I want to read this to see if I can figure this guy out. Mm-hmm. But when I did, I also bought every single book of MLK at the same time to balance it out. And I walked up there, and I think I set it down. And I was like, I'm just trying to figure out why he did what he did. And the lady was like, the lady was almost like, I don't care. I don't care. Which part of me was like, well, shit, you have it in your damn Barnes & Noble, man. I don't feel
Take
bad.
it out of your store if you don't.
I was making the argument before I even got up there. I read that book and I still didn't understand what the fuck was it.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Bastard.
None of it makes any fucking sense. But I agree with that. Like, I think my number was like, I saw like 91 of the AFI, and like I said, a couple of Ingmar Bergman films, and for a while, my big film blind spot was It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, for a long time.
Okay.
And I watched that for the first time 2 years ago. And I liked it. But yeah, for the longest time, like that was...
I'll tell you a better way to look at that film. Because I thought that film... I'm going to write something down before I forget. You talked about directors. I have one massive one that I have not seen anything that I would get my card revoked. And I do not know how to spell his name. So I'm just phonetically spelling it.
Yeah.
When I was in college, my buddy Big John, who's like 10, 15 years older than me, he was going back to school. We were talking about It's a Wonderful Life. I was like, yeah, it's good. It's whatever. I watch it every year at Christmas. He's like, no, that's a great film. I was like, really? Why? And he was like, because you really have to drill down and think about how it relates to you. How many things have you done that have impacted or bettered someone's life? And just thinking of that ripple effect. And I was like, well, shit. Okay. So now I think of like him, that he's a good example because he was working at Hardee's for like, he went to school, dropped out, worked at Hardee's for like 10 or 15 years, never went to manager because he was like, he went to manager and then dropped back down to employee because he was like, I'm just going to live my entire life as a manager here. Went back to school. I kind of helped him through design school. And then when he got out, I got him a job. And I think he's still working at that job. But if I hadn't been with him in school, he may still be working at Hardee's right now at like 50, 60 years old.
Wow.
And so I think it's that, having him reframe how to view that film kind of made me rethink that film. And he was like,
incredible, yeah.
He was like, every time I watch that film, I cry at the end. He's like, because I think about the impact. I was like, fuck.
Wow.
All right, man. It's like, okay, thanks, man. You're getting me to cry at films, man.
Thanks for giving me this new appreciation of a classic that makes it even sadder. Yeah.
Tarkovsky.
Andrei Tarkovsky, yeah.
I can't know. I don't know how to spell his damn name. He's one I've never seen anything.
Really?
No.
Really?
No. And he's one, it's one of those, I know I need to, but it's also that weird world we live in. It's like, how in the hell am I going to watch that? Like, I still do the discs from Netflix. So,
do you?
Yeah, that's probably the only way I'm going to do it.
I honestly, sometimes I wish I still did the discs. I just obviously do the streaming stuff, but yeah.
Or maybe the Criterion Channel or Hulu.
I do that. Yeah, I subscribe to the Criterion Channel. I think it's pretty good. Like, but again, like, I got the Criterion Channel, and I remember I was watching some black and white Japanese film because it was I don't know, somebody was talking about how good it was and how it's like influenced a lot of people.
Yeah.
And Lindsay, my wife, came home and she just like stood there for 30 seconds. And, I'm not making a comment on like the generations, but she stood there and she was just like, you're really going to sit here and you're going to just watch this.
Yeah.
She's like, you're not going to look at your phone or
no.
This is entertaining to you.
Yeah.
I was just like, well, entertaining is a subjective thing. So, granted, this is not obviously the most entertaining movie, but it's just like, I can see where she's coming from.
Yeah.
I like the Criterion Channel for stuff like that, but am I going to go through the whole library of the Criterion Channel? Probably not.
Man, there are some, and it's so weird now. Like, it's weird to me that, like, when it started, it was all, like, Liv Ullmann and, Tarkovsky, all that, and now it's, like, Dazed and Confused. Like, that cracks me up. I'm like, no, Dazed and Confused is amazing. but it cracks me up that's like put on the same level as like these master.
I love it. Yeah, that's amazing. That's incredible.
Godard.
You look at like it's got like 30 Jean-Luc Godard movies in the Criterion collection, and then Dazed and Confused.
Yeah. I was like, I bet you Linklater never thought about that when he.
No.
Yeah.
But you're right. Dazed and Confused is amazing. So yeah.
Well, that's like this just happened a couple weeks ago that. What is it called? The National Registry of Films, the 25 that got entered, and one of them was Clerks.
Yeah.
And he was just like, he was over the moon. And I'm like, you are way too humble, man. I was like, that literally is one of the most groundbreaking films probably ever.
Yeah.
Like, got to be in top 25 of most groundbreaking. I know you don't see it that way because you just, I was like, but good God, man. Like, that film is so important to independent film.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
you don't.
Yeah.
Like, he keeps quoting Slacker. He's like, I saw Slacker and was like, you know, it doesn't have to be somebody from Hollywood doing this. I was like, but you went way above and beyond Slacker. I was like, because you can probably pull anybody off the streets and they're not going to know Slacker. They're probably going to know
exactly.
Clerks.
You made a $25,000 movie in New Jersey of all places, and people can most people that know movies can like quote that.
Yeah,
I honestly can't really quote Slacker.
No.
I've seen it, don't remember much about it.
I haven't seen it in a long time. Like I saw it in the early days of Netflix. Man, early days of Netflix, I would just load shit in there just because there weren't that many films.
Yeah, that's
how I got through a lot of Kurosawa. Is through Netflix. And there's some of those that, like, there's one later one that was terrible. Kurosawa's Dreams that had Scorsese.
Oh, Dreams, yeah.
That's like, good God, dude.
Yeah.
No.
Weirdly, Martin Scorsese plays Vincent Van Gogh in that movie. It's so bizarre. Yeah, but...
Well, that's like, you talk about that with Lindsay walking in. I think that's how I kind of felt about when I saw Seven Samurai for the first time. Because I got it for Christmas, Criterion DVD, like late 90s, early 2000s. And just watching it going, this is like 4.5 hours long.
Yeah, man.
It's like, and I'd seen The Magnificent Seven probably 50 times before I saw Seven Samurai.
Exactly. That's a really good point. I don't. And again, like, you know,
it's homework. That's the way I look at some of those films. I was like, this is homework.
And I don't know why. I don't know why it feels like that with some movies and other. Maybe it's just, you know, there's just subject matter in our brains that matters more than other subject matter. Like I don't necessarily want to watch a 4-hour foreign film because not that I have a problem with subtitles. Like I love, you know, Old Boy is a great movie. It's Korean, you know, Parasite that just came out this year. Great movie.
Damn it. I know. That's one I still need to get to the theater and see.
Yeah. And it's like,
I love that director.
Oh, Bong Joon-ho. Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, he's so awesome. But I don't want to sit and watch like something from 1954 that is extremely long, extremely slow. Sorry to all you film nerds out there. You will all see the light once you hit your 30s probably. It's boring. Yeah. And
even, and I still have not seen this one. Because I also know it's like 3 hours long. I also think about the gimmick a lot of the time. Like, would Boyhood be considered a good film if it didn't have the gimmick of they shot, you know, a week on this every year for 12 years or whatever it was?
Yeah, I will probably get attacked for this too, but I don't think it would be.
No. Linklater's a weird one because he makes great films and he makes some dog shit films.
Yeah, he will make a real dud if he wants to.
Although, you talk about getting attacked, Coen Brothers, man. Coen Brothers used to be one good film, one bad film. Yeah. One good film, one bad film. Like, I remember physically getting angry at the Lady Killers.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was so bad.
Oh,
I was like, this has everything I love in it. It has Tom Hanks, and it's the fucking Coen Brothers. And it has, J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
And he was hilarious in that film.
Man, who's it? It's Marlon Wayans, J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, that's his name.
Tom Hanks. I don't remember who the other.
And even the woman who was in that had been in a few things, and I liked her. Yeah. But I physically got angry at that film.
God, I hated that movie.
Whereas you talk about a slow film with No Country for Old Men still one of the best damn things.
But exactly.
Yeah.
It's an incredible movie, but
how do they do Lady Killers and No Country for Old Men?
yeah, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Like that was that was a pretty close span, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like
I don't think Lady Killers was like 2004, 2005.
yeah.
And then No Country was what, 2009
I think it was 2007.
or 2007?
Yeah, because I remember people were making such a big deal rightfully so, because No Country for Old Men is outstanding, but they were making such a big deal about that, getting like all these award nominations, but then they turned around and made Burn After Reading right after it. And that's like the opposite of No Country for Old Men in every way.
I will say it does have two of the funniest scenes I've ever seen. Three of the funniest scenes I've ever seen. Have you seen Burn After Reading?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The look on Brad Pitt's face when he gets his head blown off
When he
is
comes
one
out
of the funniest things. And the two scenes with J.K. Simmons and Sledgehammer, which is what I know him from. There's a show in the late 80s, early 90s with David Rash, I think is his name, called Sledgehammer, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
The two scenes with them of like J.K. Simmons going, maybe one day someone will explain to me what the fuck happened here. Like, I think I almost fell out. I think I fell out of that chair and I had snot coming out of my nose.
Yeah. I laughed so hard when he just looks at the ceiling. What did we learn?
Yeah.
It's like,
Those two scenes are...
God damn if I know.
Yeah.
I guess we learned not to do it again.
Yeah. And everything else was awful in that film. Awful. God. And even, I didn't like the Buster Scruggs thing either.
I liked a couple segments on it. I didn't love the whole thing, but I did like. I liked Tim Blake Nelson's opening bit.
Yeah. But I think
liked
some of
his.
them I could see where they were going a mile away.
Yeah,
Like the one with Liam Neeson was terrible.
yeah. I wasn't a fan of that one,
Yeah.
but I did like the. I liked the one with Tim Blake Nelson, and I thought the one with James Franco was like pretty good dark comedy.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah.
Those guys, I don't know what it is about those guys. And True Grit was amazing.
Oh, I loved the remake of True Grit.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic movie.
I'm trying to think what else. Yeah. Those guys. They're another ones. Them and Sam hasn't made a film in a while.
Sam Raimi?
Yeah, he hasn't made a film in a while.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good point. What is the last movie he directed?
Because they were like editors or something on
Yeah, they helped. They edited Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing. Why isn't Sam Raimi? I kind of
that's-
wish he would get out of horror and do something more like Coen Brothers-y.
Yeah. I don't even remember the last movie he directed.
Was it Drag Me From Hell?
Was Drag Me to Hell the last one he directed? Wow.
Maybe.
That's been
That's been a while.
few years.
Yeah. Which I didn't see that. I'm not a horror movie person.
Yeah.
Nope. I've got like my I always say I'm not a horror movie person, but I do love Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh,
and
well, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is amazing.
that is one of the most tense films. But then also like, I don't know. I like horror films that aren't like gross for gross sake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I get
like
that.
Takashi Miike stuff.
Oh,
Stuff
oh my
like that.
God. His movies are for a special breed. I've watched a few of them, but I can't say I've liked any of them.
And I haven't seen Hereditary. I haven't seen Midsommar. I haven't seen A Quiet Place.
You know, I really liked Hereditary. Midsommar I thought was fine, but I really liked Hereditary. I like the idea of, and it's not really like a spoiler alert, but like the movie makes a comment about like, mental illness and how it can just be passed down through generations, but also it makes you think like, oh man, is this woman just going crazy or are these things actually happening? And it's like I thought a really clever combo of, oh no, she is mentally ill, but also these things are actually happening to her. So it's like, it's a terrible combo. And
See,
I wouldn't say it's like, there's like a tiny bit of gore, but it's definitely not like, gross.
Jump scares.
Yeah. and actually not really jump scares either.
It's just creepy.
It's just it's like a real just dread. Yeah, I would recommend it, but that's just me, And Midsommar's fine. Midsommar is like a movie that like I don't think anybody would have. Like, for instance, my wife is the biggest scared person of all time.
Yeah.
Any sound, anything that ever happens, she is very on her toes, and she watched Midsommar and was just like, I mean,
I didn't realize until somebody was talking about that it was actually set in the present.
Yeah.
I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to remember the name. Still the creepiest. The Orphanage was pretty creepy.
Yeah, Orphanage is creepy, yeah. Creepy movie.
Why am I can't think of the most disturbing film I've seen. It's going to kill me. It's the guy who did The Mechanic, Brad Anderson. The one where they're cleaning up the mental hospital.
Dude, don't even get me started on Session 9.
Session 9.
That movie fucked me up.
That's one of the most disturbing films I've ever seen.
Yes. I made the mistake, and speaking of like Netflix, DVDs in the mail, I rented, like, got it, everything, put it in my laptop, like, just at night, and had my headphones in.
Oh, God.
And by the end of that, I was just absolutely traumatized. Like the scene where Josh Lucas's character goes at night to try and steal all those like rare coins, and he's going down that hallway. That's one of the most scared like moments I've ever had. Like watching a movie, I was like, I am so unbearably like tense right now,
uncomfortable. And what's wild about that movie is probably like 3/4 of it is daytime.
Yeah.
Like the fact it's daytime and it's still terrifying.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing. Oh man, him listening to those tapes.
Yeah.
Every
time her personality switches. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh God. I mean, it's a great movie, but man, that movie really jacked me up when I saw it.
There's another guy that I don't think's made a movie in a while, Brad Anderson. I think
I think you're right. I don't think he has made.
I think if I remember right, he did some weird film in like the mid-90s with why am I going to blank on his name? The Kingpin.
Woody Harrelson?
Full Metal Jacket. The big guy. Vincent D'Onofrio. I think he made a movie in the mid-90s with D'Onofrio and like Maura Tierney or something to where it's like a romantic comedy, but they cuss like sailors. Called like Happy Accident. I
think that's actually the name of it.
Yeah,
I think it's called Happy Accident.
But it's just so funny seeing that in like 97.
Yeah,
and then Session 9 and like
Session 9
in like 2002. It's like what the? And then he did The Mechanic, which that's
Machinist.
Yeah, Machinist, not the. Oh, yeah, oof. That's a bad mistake right there. Although that leads me, have you ever turned off a film?
Yes, I have.
I think I've only turned off 2.
Very recently, actually, I turned off a film. I think I just felt an actual physical hatred while watching it. It's called Ingrid Goes West. It's Aubrey Plaza, Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah.
What's his name? Ice Cube's son.
Oh yeah.
So I think O'Shea Jackson Jr. or whatever. Yeah. I made it through 30 minutes of that movie, and I
really
hated it
because it looked interesting.
I thought the same. I was just like, I hate this.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. And it came on. Hulu had it, and so I was just like, oh yeah, I wanted to see that in the theater. And then when I started watching it, I was just getting so upset. I just really hated it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And maybe I didn't give it a fair shake, but God, I hate it. I thought it was just to me, it felt like it was like a satire of like Instagram culture and all this shit, but I thought it was incredibly lazy, incredibly obvious. This is not saying anything new as far as Instagram culture. Like, people who do Instagram culture are vapid. That's
no shit.
Cool. Great satire.
Oh my God. I can't remember what one of them was. One of them was I bring this up because The Mechanic. Mm-hmm. One of them was a Charles Brand, Mr. Majestic. My dad was like, that film is so good. And I think I made it like 45 minutes into it. I was like, I have to stop.
Which one was that?
Mr. Majestic.
Well, who was in that?
It's Charles Bronson from like the late 70s.
Yeah, I don't think
45 minutes in. I was like, the other one was some French film to where it was post-apocalyptic and whoever was in it was somebody. Like it was somebody you would know. Like not like Charlotte Rampling, but it was somebody like on that level. And it was when I think I made an hour into it. But there were scenes that were shot in complete darkness. I think she got raped in complete darkness, where it was like the TV was dark for like 10 minutes.
Wow.
But where it lost me was there was one scene where they were walking down a railroad and there was a horse there and they slit the throat of the horse and you saw the blood. And I was like, I think that's real. And I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what it was called, but it was another one. I was like, Jesus. Okay, I'm good. I don't need to see this. What the hell am I doing? Like, those are the only two. And I've sat through yoga hosers. See, I love...
Hey, I sat through yoga hosers also. And
you know what I determined at the end of that? It's like, this film's not for me.
yeah.
I didn't like it, but it's just not for me.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Although, I don't know if I told you this. I took Stacy to see Aladdin with Will Smith.
Oh.
And I really did not want to go. So we went. That's the last movie I saw at East Town Mall, which really bothers me.
Oh, yeah.
So we went and saw Aladdin, and there was one point where I just got up to go pee or something. And then I came back and I sat down, and then like 30 minutes later I got up to go get some more Coke and to pee again. And apparently I made a noise when I got up because she texted me before I even made it out to the front. She was like, "Are you okay?" It's like, "Yeah, why?" And she's like, "When you get up, you went..." I was like, because this movie's terrible. This movie is awful.
God.
It is awful. And you made me come and sit through this shit. And she was just, but the text I got from her, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yes, Stacy, I am okay."
I am okay despite my loud protestation of grunt.
It was terrible. It was terrible.
I didn't even bother.
Okay. I think, I can't remember if I asked you, who would be on your Mount Rushmore for directors? I know one of them.
Well, yeah.
I probably know two of them.
I would like to hear your two guesses.
Scorsese, of course.
Yes.
PTA.
Yeah, that's good. Good guesses. So how many do I only get?
4.
Shit. Man.
While you're thinking on that, I'm going to get more coffee. Do you need more coffee?
No, I'm good, man. Ooh, boy. 4. Scorsese, PTA. Oh, my God. I would, he had a lot of personal faults, but I'm going to have to go for Hitchcock. I have to. I think he changed everything about films, and I think he deserves it. He definitely was not a good person as far as treating actresses the way he did.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, totally. I didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
And man,
Scorsese, PTA,
Hitchcock.
See, there's weird. I don't think anybody's batted 1,000.
Oh no,
because if you
not.
look at somebody like De Palma had a great run.
I think you got number 4. There's so much. I love so many De Palma movies so much, but I also, you're right, De Palma has really had some missteps, big ones. Hell, Scorsese's had missteps, and I love that guy. Hitchcock, I have not liked every Hitchcock movie, but I would have to go De Palma. I was weighing up De Palma or Spike Lee. And Spike Lee to me is like the ultimate. Spike Lee is the ultimate, like, he is either a 100% hit or, to me, a 100% miss. Like, this is the same guy. Like, 25th Hour, I love that movie.
Okay, thank you. That's my favorite Spike Lee film.
Yeah,
I think it is a perfect.
It's incredible. And talk about a movie that made me cry. The end of that movie, I was just like, this is too much.
Yeah.
That whole just bit before he goes to prison, I was like,
but it's also like perfectly cast.
Yeah,
like that may be one of the best castings I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Film. Even the two main Russian gangster guys.
Yeah.
Like, who the hell knows who those guys are? But
yeah,
good God.
Exactly.
Like, they're amazing.
Yeah. It was going to be a toss-up, but I'll have to go. Yeah, so I would have to say my 4 are De Palma, Scorsese, PTA and Hitchcock.
Spike Lee's rough. Because I never saw Chirac because I can't take Nick Cannon seriously as a tough.
Chirac isn't very good.
Is it, and the other one is Inside Man. Inside Man should have been better.
It should have been better.
I love, what's his name, Terrence Howard? Or not Terrence,
she would tell.
No. The guy he uses for his composing. Terrence Blanchard.
Blanchard, yeah.
That score was terrible.
Yeah.
It was too, like, that film should have been, because I like everybody in that film.
Oh, yeah, totally.
The fact they got Jodie Foster in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Christopher Plummer?
Christopher Plummer, Jodie Foster, yeah, Clive Owen.
Chiwetel
Ejiofor. Yeah.
And have you ever seen Dirty Pretty Things?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the name of the guy who directed that, but that guy.
Stephen Frears.
Yeah, Stephen Frears is another. Mm-hmm. His batting average is pretty damn good.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and he's one a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have a. So do you? This will lead us down to Inherent Vice. Do you give a lot of directors just a pass? See, I don't think I give anybody a pass.
Really?
No. Like PTA is even one that's like There Would Be Blood is a masterpiece to me. But Inherent Vice just did not grab me. I don't know what it was. Like,
I will say that I don't think I do either.
Okay.
I really don't. Like, I love Scorsese, but I will go into each of his movies with like no preconceived notion. If I like it, I like it. The last Scorsese movie I disliked, I didn't really like Hugo very much.
It was okay. That's another one of those. I was like, I don't think this is for me.
Yeah, I didn't really like Hugo very much. Before that, I didn't love Kundun.
I didn't see Kundun.
And around that same era, I thought Bringing Out the Dead was fine. I didn't love it.
Bringing Out the Dead almost felt like a De Palma film more than it felt like a Scorsese film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. That's a good call. I can see that.
Coke-fueled film.
Yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street was great.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street's great. I really like Silence. It is a little slow, but I really liked it.
Well, that's like even going back to Aviator. I thought Aviator was good.
Yeah.
But I felt like, I was like, it's almost like, I look at stuff now and go, that almost would have been better as like a 8-part HBO miniseries or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, there's something, like I saw it once or twice. I was like, I think I'm good.
I totally agree with that. No, I agree with that. But yeah, like, so, even though he's not on Mount Rushmore, like, I never give Spike Lee a pass. Like, he always has to hit it out of the park, or I'm just not, I can't. Like, Spike Lee has to, for me, just like, he has to grab me. If he doesn't grab me, I'm probably not going to like the movie.
Yeah.
And I really liked Black Klansman. I thought it was really funny.
Man. Black Klansman was amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny. Adam Driver's fantastic. I thought that was a great movie. But yeah, before that, he made Chirac, and I just I didn't care for it. And,
the closest one I give a pass, just because... Ironically, his three biggest films, I think, are his three weakest films, is Nolan.
Oh, really? And we might actually agree on that.
I think the Batman films are not as good as everybody gives them credit for. Like, I think everybody's like, Dark Knight's a masterpiece. I was like, no, it's not.
It's not.
It's 2/3 of a good film.
Yeah.
And 1/3 of like, no.
Yeah. It's not.
That's one of the best openings I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. Film. Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, but the stuff he's done outside of that has been so much better. Yeah. Like, and I can't wait for Tenet. Tenet looks
crazy.
It looks insane.
Yeah.
And even like Dunkirk, I didn't see it in the theater. I ended up watching it at home because I was like, I like war films. Mm-hmm. I was like, but I don't know about this. Mm-hmm. It literally looks like a lot of people sitting around, and holy shit, no, it was.
Yeah, anybody that asks me, if they ask me what my favorite Nolan film is, it's still The Prestige. I love The Prestige.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
I don't love Inception.
No, I was going to go back to Memento. Memento blew my mind.
Oh, Memento's fantastic.
I saw that on I was working at Home Tour. I went into work on a Sunday. I used to go to films like every Sunday. Mm-hmm. I used to go to 3 movies a day
Oh wow.
on like Friday, on Saturdays and Sundays at 3 different theaters because I felt weird going to sitting at the same theater. But I remember I was sitting at work and I was like, I'm gonna go see a movie. I was like, let's see what's playing. Memento. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I went and saw it and I was like, good Jesus.
I remember seeing Memento at Downtown West.
That's where I saw it.
Yeah. And I was like, this director he's going to be a fucking legend. I saw that movie and I was like, I am that so impressive.
Early
But-
days of Netflix, I got to go back and watch Following. Or
Oh,
The
yeah,
Following,
Following, yeah.
and it was great.
Yeah, Following's a good movie.
He's probably the only one that I would not give a pass, but benefit of the doubt, I guess is the better way to put it.
Yeah, I can see that. I
Yeah.
would agree with that. Yeah.
But you didn't like Leo. Why am I blanking on it?
Inception?
Inception.
I thought it was fine.
Okay.
The concept of the movie is incredible. I love that. The casting was great. The casting in his movies is usually
Yeah.
excellent. I didn't think, honestly, and this is going to make me sound like slightly pretentious, but I just don't think he went far enough in weird directions with the whole dreams on top of dreams on top of dreams. And
Okay.
like, I thought it could have been, of course, it's a summer blockbuster, so he's not going to get like extremely weird.
Yeah.
But I thought it could have been like a little like, holy shit, man, you have this potential, like these dreams, and what's a dream and what's a dream and what's reality. And I thought, but I did love the ending.
Yeah.
I really loved the ending of Inception. I thought it was really good. But yeah, I mean, I don't hate it, and I think there are some amazing scenes in it. It's probably lower tier Nolan for me.
And I think one, if you go more modern, because I haven't seen his older films that were foreign language, Villeneuve is another one.
Oh,
that
dude.
benefit of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt. Not a pass, but I think
That is a really good point, because I remember I watched Sicario, and you and I talked about this the other day. And first of all, one of the most underrated films of the past decade. Love it so much. But I saw that and it made me want to seek out his older stuff.
Yeah.
And now I'm the same way, because right after Sicario, Blade Runner 2049, he's doing Arrival. I loved Arrival.
Arrival's insane.
Yeah, and then I think he's doing Dune.
Yeah.
And it's just like, not necessarily give him a pass, but I will give him the benefit of the
It's
doubt.
the fact that he did Prisoners, Sicario.
Oh God, yes, Prisoners.
And Blade 2049 is like, who the fuck does those 3 films back to back to back? Like,
exactly.
that's crazy. But I think it's with Inception and with Blade Runner 2049. This is going to sound nuts. I love seeing money thrown at a film that is interesting.
Yeah.
As opposed to money thrown at a CGI fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
To where those films, like I remember watching Blade Runner 2049, and I like the original Blade Runner. I'm not a fanboy for it at all.
No.
But that new one, I was like, I wish they would never shown Harrison Ford in the trailer. I wish that would have just been a great surprise. I was like, it goes back to, I know who I give a pass. Deakins. Deakins is a god.
I will.
Like Deakins is a god.
I'll give Deakins a pass. Deakins could shoot.
So Rotten Tomatoes just did like a little mini retrospective on him.
Really?
Where he talked, but it sucks because it's like 13 minutes long.
Oh.
And half of it's devoted to 1917. I was like, son of a bitch. It's like, no, I want to see him do a real like hour-long deep dive. Like Blade Runner 2049, because I always think about this on like Imager, however you pronounce it. Yeah,
whatever, yeah.
The whole backgrounds for your computer.
Yeah.
I think you could take pretty much 90% of that film and make it backdrops for your, for your
Yes.
computer.
Yeah.
It is so beautifully done. Like,
Yes.
we went and saw that at a late night screening. My buddy Sean fell asleep like twice during it. I was like, no, that's completely, I understand.
Yeah.
Because we were there at, I think we got to the theater at like 10:30.
Yeah.
Sat through 30 minutes of trailers and then watched a 3-hour, 20-minute film.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I got that.
Yeah.
I was like, but holy shit, that movie was, that's one that I don't think gets enough credit.
No, it doesn't. First of all, 2049 I think is leagues better than Blade Runner. I don't know. That movie's beautiful.
Again, has one of my favorite actors right now, fucking Dave Bautista.
Dave Bautista's he's
fucking
crushing
love
it, man.
Him I hated Spectre,
Yeah, Spectre sucks. It sucks.
but his whole thing at the beginning was some of the best stuff I'd seen in a Bond film outside of Skyfall. But just the brutality of him, in that where he walked through a door frame. I was just like, Jesus! Like, I loved it so much. Like, Stuber was not as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah. You told me that the other day.
That was one I put on the background. I was like, and I actually got interested in it.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what the fuck? This movie looked like shit.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. Yeah, I'll agree with that.
But yeah, and I even like on Blade Runner 2049, Jake Scott, Ridley's son. And you see, like, they did 4 mini movies.
Oh, yeah.
And one of them was Batista. I was like, fucking Batista may be one of the best actors out there today. Because he was, even though he's a big brute of a dude, like, he plays, like, low-key.
He can play somber, like, really well. He's
that short he did with Jake Scott leading up to Blade, there was, like, little pre-limb. I was like, that's one of the best. Holy shit. Like,
oh, yeah. I agree with that. I just had my memory jog because, yes, I close to will give Villeneuve not really a pass, but yes, always the benefit of the doubt.
Benefit of the doubt. That's a better way to put it.
Another director that I just got, because you said that, Michael Mann, I will give close to not a pass, but because of my undying devotion to Heat.
So here's my big problem with Michael Mann. I wish he would have never found digital filmmaking.
His later movies are ugly. They just are. They're ugly.
And it's I hated Public Enemies because
see again, Public Enemies is not good. It's not a good movie.
And then the film he did with Chris Hemsworth on Hacking
Black Hat
was terrible.
Yeah,
it was
not a good movie.
I was angry at that film, but man, his run of some of his films, like shit. Why am I blanking? Man, this is what not eating for 48 hours does to you. I'm not firing on all cylinders. Collateral is maybe one of the best films in the last 20 years.
So good. Like you think about that run of Last of the Mohicans, Heat, The Insider, Ali, which I liked.
Ali was amazing.
Collateral, and then Miami Vice. But then after Miami Vice, for me, in my opinion, I haven't really liked one of his movies.
See, Miami Vice was weird. Like, when I saw it in the theater, I hated it. And then the more I thought about it later, I was like, holy shit, this is... You know what Miami Vice reminded me of? And maybe you'll see this parallel. Ronin.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's all shorthand.
Yeah.
You're not getting spoon-fed anything. Ronin's one of the top 10 for me.
Yeah.
Easy. Ronin.
Yeah.
But it's all shorthand. Like, you're not getting spoon-fed anything. And that's how Miami Vice is.
Yeah.
And I thought about, like, some of the shots in that. You talk about beautiful cinematography. Miami Vice was insane.
The fucking scene where they come from Cuba, or no, they go from Miami to Cuba.
Yeah.
Just the boat, and oh, man.
Even those scale where you see the plane and it's tiny and it's all clouds, or even when they're in, and I love this actor, the British actor, Eddie Marsden.
Oh, Eddie Marsden.
Where they're in that and you see all the windows and you're just seeing. Now, all that is digital.
Sure, yeah.
But Public Enemies was so bad. Public Enemies should have been so good.
It should have been awesome, but it should have not been made digitally. I think it just took so much away from it. I think it looked cruddy and awful in a way that, like, Collateral didn't. Yeah. Miami Vice didn't, but for some reason Public Enemies looked cheap.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't have by any means.
Yeah. Collateral. I remember seeing Collateral in the theater and walking out just like almost like moved. Like it like I was like, Jesus Christ, man, Tom Cruise. That's another one. Everybody shits on him, but Jesus, he is.
I like Tom Cruise. Maybe not as a person. I probably wouldn't share that.
I actually think as a person, he's great.
You think so?
No, because I actually met Tom Cruise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I have heard. I think he's nuts. I think I have stories that I cannot tell on mic about when he came here for that premiere when I got to meet. But I have also heard he is. If you're sitting talking to him, he doesn't give a shit about anybody else. He's talking to you. Like, he has done so much for people and all this stuff.
Yeah.
He is nutty. But he's, everybody else like, but he's such a nice guy. He knows everybody on set's name, even like a gaffer. He knows his name. Like he was like, no, he's like. I think it's finally people will be like, no, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I've more than enjoyed a lot of his work. I think it's insane that the Mission Impossible series just keeps getting better. that seems crazy to me.
See, it's weird. Like, I think it's a Coen Brothers situation where I think one will be good and one is just okay. I'm trying to remember, and honestly, this is gonna sound weird. I think it benefited. I watched a bunch of them in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Like I watched them back to back to back, like the last three, and I was like, holy shit, that actually makes it better.
Yeah,
because they're a lot more connected than you realize.
Absolutely.
I still think. I will stand by this. I still think Philip Seymour Hoffman in Mission Impossible 3 is one of the best villains ever in a film.
Yes.
Do you have a wife? Do you have a girlfriend? I'm going to find her, and I'm going to kill her. Just that even killed after he's been hanging out of that plane. I was like, he is terrified.
This is another tangent, but the name of your podcast is great for tangents. So speaking of Philip Seymour Hoffman, I think one of the most legendary performances he ever gave was in Along Came Polly.
He was hilarious in that
He
film.
is so underrated as a comic actor. Just the pratfalls that he has in that movie are like because some people they telegraph like a pratfall, but where he walks in at the wedding and he just slips on the floor. You don't see that coming. Obviously, everybody, the basketball scene,
basketball scene is still,
raindrops and just.
I will pull that shit up on YouTube every once in a while just to watch it because it's.
He is so good in that movie, and it's just like it's a totally forgettable movie, but it's like. That's why Philip Seymour Hoffman is one of my favorite actors of all time, because you can tell he doesn't half-ass any performance. No. That's like some imagine him like reading that script like, oh, it's a Ben Stiller, Jennifer Aniston rom-com. I could probably just go pick up a paycheck. But no, he commits to that shit 100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's just incredible.
Yeah.
Like you look at somebody like Bruce Willis now doing like a directed movie. Well, that's not video anymore, but what the equivalent of directed video shit, and just to get paychecks, and Travolta doing the same shit now. And,
although, and I haven't seen Mandy, but I think it was Rogan or somebody or it may have been Smith and Bernard where they were talking about, they're like, Nicolas Cage is still a great actor.
He is a great actor.
Like the films he's taken are not because he has bills to pay.
Yeah.
I was like, but if you watch Mandy, which I've still never seen Mandy.
Mandy's awesome.
But they're like, if you see that, you realize he still has a lot left in him.
Oh, dude, he is so good in Mandy. And it's like, he obviously ran into some tax issues and shit, so I'm sure he had to do a lot of those. It's like, I got to pay off some stuff. But Mandy is like one of those movies where you watch Nicolas Cage and you're like, man, this guy, if he never got in trouble with like taxes and everything, he would have, I don't know, 4 Academy Awards, because he is just awesome.
I'll tell you somebody who I think slept on, who actually jumped in on early, never gives half-ass performances, Chadwick Boseman.
No, he doesn't either, yeah.
Goddamn. He was in this, and it's a terrible movie, but that Kevin Costner Draft Day film is not that good, but there's something about that film that I really like it, and he is unbelievable in that film.
Wasn't he also in
he was Jackie Robinson. He was Jackie Robinson. He was James Brown.
Yes.
Like he's
James
been all
Brown
these things.
too, yeah.
And he's another one that I think now with the moniker of like Black Panther and everything, I was like, he's still a hell of an actor.
Yeah.
Like Michael B. Jordan's another one that's like
Michael B. Jordan's a great
everything
actor.
he's if you go back to like Chronicle or The Wire, you know.
Yeah.
He's not, but Chadwick Boseman, I remember there was that little run where I was like, holy shit, that dude, he's going to be big. Like when I saw Draft Day, I was like, he's going to be big.
Yeah.
And that sounds really stupid considering this is fucking Draft Day. There's something, I hate Jennifer Garner. I hate her with the Fire of 1,000 Suns. I hate Jennifer Aniston with the Fire of 1,000 Suns. I think they're both terrible. I think they're both absolutely terrible.
Neither one, I think, has given a good performance in anything, really. I don't care for...
Jennifer Garner, I've always said she seems like a high school drama person. Like that's the level of acting she gives. Also, she is the reason why Kevin Smith and Ben Affleck didn't talk for a long while, because she did not like Kevin and him being a bad influence on Ben Affleck.
Yeah, and you
Even
told
though-
me that the other day, and I was like, holy shit, I didn't even know that.
And even though Kevin doesn't drink, he doesn't do any of the bad shit that Ben Affleck does.
Yeah.
But, God damn it, I fucking hate him.
Yeah, when you told me that, I was like, wow, I did not know that. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Kevin did this film, what was it, Catch and Release,
Oh,
that I
God,
watched.
Catch and Release.
It was terrible. He was great. And him
Yeah.
and the guy, Sam, what's his name, they were buddy, were in it.
Yeah.
He's been in a bunch of TV shows and stuff, but they were funny. They were great.
Yeah.
But he still he calls Tim Oliphant Oliphantastic, because he was like, he said he was just a complete shithead to him on the making of that film. Like
Really?
He like made a scene of and everything I've seen of Oliphant. He's funny as shit. Like Justified is amazing, but he
Yeah,
was just
Justified.
like, and he was like, I don't know what it was. This was his first role, is like he was the leading man, and the studio didn't like. He went through all this stuff, but he was a complete asshole to me. He's like, because all I had to do be was the fat friend,
Oh,
the
well,
fat
yeah.
funny friend, and he
Yeah.
was like, and he was just like, he told stories about. He's like, oh yeah, he was awful to me on that set.
Wow.
But he said the same thing about Cop Out, and he was like, if you,
Oh, yeah, well,
if you ask, like I saw Kevin Pollak and Adam Brody in an interview, and they're like, Bruce was super nice to us, but he treated Kevin like shit on that, and they're like, it's so weird. Cause
I remember reading all those stories about him and Bruce Willis about it with Cop Out. Oh, boy.
It's weird. He is an anomaly now in that he just does what he kind of wants to do. That's like one of my friends hated Tusk. I was like, you got to realize Tusk was a stoner's idea. And it was Kevin Smith made it because he's like, I want to make this film because I want to see this film.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to make this film. And up until The Suit was terrible. It was actually a pretty tense, well-shot film.
Yeah, yeah.
Red State's still, I think, his best work.
Yeah, Red State's a good movie.
Red State is, I know it's kind of him channeling Tarantino a little bit, but
Yeah.
but he said this, he said, anytime the audience thinks they know where we're going, I pivot. He was like killing Pollock in that film. He was like,
Yeah.
nobody saw that shit coming.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Okay. Let's see. Do you have a top 5, top 10 movies of all time?
I have a top 5 of what I would consider my favorite.
Okay.
I don't know if I have a God.
I
I have
have a
like
top five favorite. I don't have a top 5. These are the greatest films ever.
I like the top 5 movies that have affected me the most, like my film watching career. Goodfellas, Dead Man, The New World, Blowout, and The Thing.
The 1980, The Thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good old John
Carl
Carpenter. Yep.
Yeah.
Those are
Okay.
the 5 movies that have like shaped me and my film taste the most. I
Okay.
love everything about them. I think they're all perfect movies. They're all different as hell. The New World is about friggin' Pilgrims landing and the whole John Smith Pocahontas thing, but it's about a lot more than that. But
Yeah.
and Dead Man's Jim Jarmusch,
Yeah.
black and white, and then you got Goodfellas, obviously mobster, and Blowout is De Palma at his De Palma-iest. And The Thing is just an incredible. I can grow a pretty good beard, but if I could grow a Kurt Russell in that movie beard, it would never be touched, and my wife would just have to get over it.
Also, one of my favorite actors, Keith David. Keith David
dude.
is solid in anything he
Keith
does.
David's great. I love Keith David, but
Oh man. Okay, so my number one, I feel like nowadays I'll get made fun of for my number one, but I don't give a shit. So my top 5 are Shawshank Redemption,
yeah.
Unforgiven,
oh god, Unforgiveness.
12, which there's another director that I almost give a pass to
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah, Unforgiven is.
Unforgiven, 12 Angry Men, When Harry Met Sally, and Back to the Future. I think Back to the Future is a perfect film.
Back to the Future is
It's about as
Wonderful.
close as you can get to a perfect film.
it's wonderful. Yeah,
But yeah, When Harry Met Sally, I think that Is that the film I've seen? I think When Harry Met Sally may be the film I've seen the most in my life.
If it were expanded to a top 10 for me, Unforgiven would be in it because Unforgiven is incredible. That's an incredible movie.
Going back to Collateral, okay, starting when they go the Javier Bardem scene on.
Yeah.
The tension is just at 11.
Yeah.
Unforgiven, I still think the best 20 minutes of film are with him and the kid up on the hill. Starting there all the way to the end, maybe the 20 best minutes in film ever.
Yeah.
Just him and the boy talking.
Yeah. It's
the dialogue and everything is just, and then
incredible.
Him going in and seeing everything that Gene Hackman had said earlier.
Yeah.
Come back to bite him in the ass. And and it's the quietness of like when he's like, I'll see you in hell. And he was like, yeah. Like it's.
Yeah. And when when he just says, I've killed everything that can walk or crawl. And then he just pauses and just, I'm here to kill you, little Bill. I'm just like.
And that pan, where it pans like right in. It's like, Jesus.
Oh God. That's such a monumental film. Love it.
Well, and it's like when they're up on the hill and the girl can't even look him in the eye. And she was like, you saying that you're Bill, whatever.
Yeah.
You've killed and you bombed the train and you killed women and children. And he's just like, give me the bottle. He doesn't even say that. And the guy was like, you keep it. That kid was scared. That kid, I don't think was ever in any other film. It's so weird. So that's another one that the first time I saw it, I got another one that I almost give a pass to.
Okay.
Clint Eastwood, I almost give a pass to.
Sure.
Like, have you ever seen A Perfect World with him and Kevin Costner?
Yes, that movie's great.
God, that movie's amazing.
That's a great movie.
Shit, now I've lost. But yeah, that film, the first time I saw it, I didn't like it because the dialogue is so funky in it. But then the more I just, every time I watched it, I appreciated it more. Yeah. And it's also one of the best shot films. It's gorgeous.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Let me come back to that one. Shit. There's a Kevin Costner Western that came out in like 2009.
Open Range.
Open Range is an unbelievable film.
Yeah.
That nobody talks about. And it's also funny.
It's funny and it's
Robert
beautiful.
Duvall is top. I love that Kevin Costner's like, fuck it. Robert Duvall is the leading actor in this.
Yeah.
I am not the leading actor. For everything I've read, Kevin Costner's a super douche. But like Kevin Costner's almost one I give a pass to because he's done
some great work. Come on, man, JFK.
David Lynch is one I almost give a pass to.
That is a really good point. I will probably also. Ooh, yeah, I don't think I've disliked anything he's done. Oh, man.
Because that's another one that it took me a while to understand was Lost Highway. The first time I saw Lost Highway, I was like, what the fuck did I just... And then I watched it a second time, and then I watched it a third time. And it was just like everything just kind of added something onto one another.
Yeah, I don't think I've disliked anything he's made.
But the first time I saw Shawshank was actually with Mom and Dad because we would go and rent a bunch of films. That's not a film that you sit a 14-year-old kid down to watch. 14, 15, I think it was 14 or 15. We watched that on like a Saturday night. And we sat there and watched Shawshank Redemption. I was like, holy shit. Like that change. Like it's weird. Like that's a weird one to show a kid. David Lynch. He's weird. And one of my favorite films by him is Straight Story.
Straight Story is great.
Straight Story, son of a bitch. Like, and I don't know if it's a Southern thing or what. That's why I was talking to somebody the other night about scenes. I was talking about Linkletter's Last Flag Flying.
I never saw that. I didn't see that.
It's really good.
It's good.
But I was like, all of our family are all fucking veterans and stuff. I was like, do I see that film through a different lens because I grew up around those guys? And so I wondered that way too. A Straight Story is like, even though it's Midwest, it's still kind of Southern or, do I see that in a different viewpoint? Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Well, yeah. But I think you bring up a really good point. It's like, you sometimes you can inform your filmmaking or your film watching with like your personal experiences. It's just what happens. Like you bring your own, like, a lot of people didn't like it, or well, no, a lot of people just would like talk about it as long and slow and stuff. But like, Ad Astra like affected me crazily because
I haven't watched it yet.
Because like growing up, I've never been close with my dad. Like,
Okay.
it's not like he's a piece of shit or anything. It's just was never just close to him. Like he's just kind of a colder guy. And it's not. I'm not. It's not like a resentful thing, but it's like any like movies that affect me a lot are like father son, like travails and shit like that. And like Ad Astra to me was more powerful because of that. I can see why some people didn't like it and they thought it was like a little slow and all this stuff, but just like it like fucking gut punched me, and it's just like stuff. But it's like you said, like something like Last Flag Flying will probably affect you more, because. Like you said, and me knowing your family like I do, that obviously.
Yeah. And it feels like these guys.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I've been, I've been playing poker with them since I was 8.
Sure, yeah.
So I've been hearing these stories and everything. And we were even down at Daryl and Linda's for their Christmas party. And we're sitting around, and I'm sitting up at the table with all the old folks, all the uncles.
Yeah.
And I started telling them, I was like, oh, yeah, I started hearing stories that I should not have heard at like 9 years old. And I said, and every one of them ended with Dad going, don't tell your mama. Like everyone. It's so funny. The dad you meet today is completely different than the dad I grew up with. The dad I grew up with was a lot.
I hear that a lot.
Oh, okay, really?
I just hear like not like negative things.
Yeah.
It's just like, Lindsay and Ryan will both tell me like Uncle Rock was he used to be a different guy.
Yeah. A little tougher, yeah. It's so funny, like, because people see him, it's like, oh my God, your dad's. I was like, yeah, but I still remember the guy that when I was in middle school, him saying I made all A's and 1 B, and he was like, you couldn't have made all A's. Fuck. All right, then I just won't try.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's the weird thing of like, you talk about family, but I know you can see this in this family. It's one of those brutal to one another, picking on one another. But if anybody ever tried to pick on any one of us, they would end up in a wall. Mm-hmm. Like Dad still, here, I'll share a dad story. He was coaching basketball, and he even told this story. I was like, holy shit, he actually remembered that story. But he didn't remember it as rough as I remembered it. So we're playing basketball, just a little scrimmage pickup game. And the opposing team, the dad, and he actually added 1 point that I'd forgotten about. So Dad was our coach. The other team had a father, a half-brother.
Right.
And then the other half-brother was on the team. The half-brother who was the coach was like 25, 26. And I was probably 14 or 15. So we're practicing, and I'm just big, and the half-brother is not. And we do like a scrounging for the ball, and I accidentally picked him up and threw him into a wall. Did not mean to, just trying to go for the ball. And so I finally let go and kind of come out of it, and one of my players gave me a high five. And then the half-brother, the coach, came up and got in my face. Well, he was looking up at me and putting his finger in my face and screaming at me. And then the minute that happened, all of a sudden you saw a shadow come around, and Dad just grabbed him by the shoulder, flipped him around. You motherfucker, you never get my fucking son. I thought he was going to kill the dude. So the part that I left out was apparently Dad was over attending to the kid who was laying on the ground.
Okay.
Because he was like, this kid's hurt and we need to look after him. And the half-brother and the dad were not doing that. So apparently he was also screaming at that kid about, you need to go over there and check on them. And the other thing was the dad was drunk.
Oh.
And that's why he wasn't doing anything or saying anything. I just remember the big shadow coming and grabbing that guy. I thought he was going to rip his fucking head off.
And and for those of you wondering, I don't just randomly know Jody's family. I'm technically married into Jody's family, so
good luck. Good luck with that. But he recounted that story, leaving some little detail. I was like, holy shit, he actually remembers that story. Yeah. He remembered one other story where we played in one league where the refs were also coaches. Like we were Alice Bell Ballpark, but we only had one team, so we had to go to another gym to play.
Yeah.
So everybody else at that gym was from that gym. And the refs were actually coaches on other teams. So anytime we played...
Wow.
Yeah. So they would literally take off their refs uniform and coach. So they were against us and everything. And
Seems like a conflict of interest.
So we walk out into the lobby one time, and the ref's sitting out there smoking or something.
Yeah.
This was the 80s.
Sure,
And you could still do. And Dad walked us up to those two refs and said, I want you boys to look at them, because you didn't lose that fucking game. These motherfuckers are the ones who lost you that fucking game, and just start going off on it. And I can just imagine my 6'4", probably at that time about 350-pound dad, truck driver, probably still had oil and shit all over him, like yelling at those two little guys.
Fucking terrifying day for those guys.
Yeah. Oh, I told them a story that he had even forgot. We were bar hopping. They used to take me bar hopping with them in Myrtle Beach, which they all magically forgot about. And then they were like, oh, no, we did take you. I was like, I remember drinking Shirley Temples and Virgin Pina Coladas, because I was the only kid. This was before Ryan's the next, and he's 10 years younger than me.
Yeah, I was going to say Ryan's the next, and then... And then your sister, or no?
Mm-hmm. My sister. Because
And
she's
then
a
Lindsay.
year older than Lindsay.
Yeah.
But we're sitting in this bar, and it's me sitting on a bar stool drinking a pina colada, Shirley Temple, because they come with little swords.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to collect the little swords. And Dad, and he's turned and talking to this guy, and it's back. I remember the guy had a tattoo on his forearm. So that's back when only Navy guys and bikers had tattoos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the guy keeps dropping the N-bomb.
Oh, Jesus.
And Dad looks back at me, and I was probably 8 at this point. Looks back at me, looks at him, puts a finger in his face, and said, if you say that one word one more fucking time, my son is going to get off his fucking bar stool, come over here, and beat your fucking ass. And he said I remember the guy looked at me, and then looked at Dad, and just grabbed his beer and walked away. And I'm sitting there at 8, like, what are we doing, Dad? What are we doing?
I'm fighting.
What the hell, Dad?
She just put me in a fight.
you just say I was going to fight. I didn't even hear him. Yeah.
Which is funny because, Rock's a big dude now, but I can't even imagine, like, Rock shoving his finger in my face when he was bigger. I'd be like, Jesus Christ. Okay, man, I am very sorry.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, my God. Okay. What movie is the movie you think you've seen the most?
It's not a very cinephile pick, but the movie that I've seen the most from the time I was a kid to now, that I will still watch it and still wholly cop to watching it, is Home Alone 2.
Home Alone 2.
I have seen
with
that.
President Donald Trump.
I have seen that movie since it came out in theaters, all the way through my teenage years, till now. I just watched it this past Christmas.
Home Alone 2.
Yeah.
Not the OG.
Not
Home
even
Alone
the OG. Home Alone 2,
Okay.
Lost in New York.
Okay. I will say something in the top 3 I've seen is everybody shits on Serendipity with John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale.
Really? You've
Yeah.
seen that a lot?
I've seen that a lot.
Really?
It's got a great soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's like an hour and a half long, and there's something about that film that I just like it.
Speaking of John Cusack, another movie, I love the movie, but I've also seen it so much.
Can I take a guess? Grosse Pointe Blank.
Yeah, you guessed it. I love that movie, and I have seen it a whole lot.
Cusack's another one of those. Like, he had that run there where he did that Identity, which was
James Mangold.
James Mangold film.
And High Fidelity. Yeah.
And High Fidelity in a run to where I was like, fuck, he made 3 radically different films. 3 radically, James Mangold's almost somebody I give a pass to.
He's done some great stuff for the past couple of years. He's been on a real tear.
The Wolverine was a lot better than everybody gives it credit, except for that bad third act. But Logan, the year Logan came out, I remember saying, I was like, no, that's the best film I saw this year. Logan was the best film. It's insane how good that film is.
And it's just an incredible Western, I think.
Yeah. But he's another one. Like Copland. If you went into my top 10, Copland would easily be in my top 10.
I remember I own Copland, but I remember buying it at McKay.
Yeah.
Over here, and saw it for, like the Blu-ray for like $1.95, and I was like, "That's a fucking steal." And I remember bringing it home, and Lindsay, my wife, just making fun of the title, and I was like, "You don't know.
You don't get it. You don't get it.
You don't get it. It's Copland."
I will say he came out with a director's cut. It's terrible.
Really? Of Copland?
Yep. Because
Wow.
he took some things out and put some stuff in. I was like, no, this should not be in here. Like it screws with the tension towards the end.
Yeah.
Like there ends up being a scene towards the end with him and Harvey Keitel. I was like, no, you did a great film.
Yeah.
Well, that's like Ryan and I talking about Brazil all the time. Like that's another one. Like Blade Runner and Brazil are two that's like. I remember when Blade Runner, when I didn't watch it until like the late 90s. And I had to ask one of my friends, I was like, tell me which version I need to watch. Because there's 7 fucking versions of this. And I don't know which one's the right one. He's like, I watched this one. I was like, I don't know if that's the one I originally watched that I actually liked it.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't love it, but I liked it. It's like, goddamn, dude, just figure it out, man.
Yeah.
Brazil, same way. I think there's like 3 different versions.
Yeah.
of Brazil.
Terry Gilliam is like cut. Yeah. So many.
It's like, we're good.
Whatever.
No, that's like on Disney Plus. I ended up rewatching every one of the Star Wars minus the prequels because I'm not going to do that again. I rewatched all of them leading up to this last one. I was like, I should. I've got Disney Plus. I'll be damned if those ones on Disney Plus are not the CGI'd rematch, and it's terrible. It's because it's all background bullshit that doesn't matter.
No,
and it bothers me because it's like I just want. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Prequels, I still remember I saw the Phantom Menace in the theater, and then I went and rewatched it again. And a guy that I worked with, he was just like, really? It was that good? I was like, nah, I need to make sure that it sucked that bad. I was like, man, that scene towards the end, though, of the 3 of them fighting, Darth Maul.
I mean, that's a great fight scene.
No, it is. Do not watch it now.
Really? Is it terrible now?
It's all green screen. It's so bad. Because I was like, it's
That's
still
upsetting.
great. The score, everything. And I was like, oh, hell no, it's not. It's actually awful. Because it's such CGI. I was like, there's good scenes in it, but it's all green screen. Like the one thing I loved most about it is when they had the barriers come down and how like Qui-Gon just kind of sat down and was
doing his like meditating.
And whereas like Obi-Wan was pacing like a caged animal. Like, but no. It looks terrible. I rewatched it on YouTube like a year ago, and I was like, this is fucking awful.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. What is something that is highly regarded that you do not like, other than Star Wars, that you do not like? And we'll do the opposite. Also be thinking of what is something that completely gets crapped on that you actually think is good.
So, I will... And to me, it's more of a director that I think is inexplicably highly regarded because I have not liked a single one of his movies. I think they're all smug bullshit. Alexander Payne, the guy who directed Election.
Yeah. The Descendants.
About Schmidt. I hate that fucking movie.
Okay.
I just think they're all like excuses.
Oh, you're a director. I was going movies or...
but his movies are like, every time he releases one, like...
Although...
They get crazy acclaim.
Why can't I not think of it? The fucking wine movie.
Oh, Sideways.
I love that movie. Because it's so funny. Like, I did not expect it to be that funny.
Yeah. Every time they're critically acclaimed, I'm just like... And it's not... And again, I don't... People will be like, well, you just don't like him. And it's like, no... If he made a fucking good movie, I would admit it. I'm not going to be like, oh, it's Alexander Payne. He sucks regardless. Every one of his movies feels really smug to me. And something like About Schmidt felt like an excuse to make fun of like Midwestern people. You know, it just felt like that to me.
I've never even seen them About Schmidt because it just looked terrible.
And that's how it feels to me. And like, of course, we all like take shots at like small town America because, yes, obviously there are dumb people out there, but it's just like, if your whole movie just feels like a little thinly veiled excuse to just like, oh, Midwest people are stupid. Well,
Yeah.
you know, come on.
The Descendants was good, but it was just sad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I felt like that whole film, like I thought, oh shit, what's his name? I think he should have been nominated for Best Supporting. The guy who was Matthew Lillard. I thought Matthew Lillard was fantastic in that film.
Matthew Lillard, yeah, wow.
And it was like, wow, this is that goofy idiot. But I also knew, have you ever seen SLC Punk?
Yeah, it's a good movie.
He's great in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, who knew this dumbass dude from Scream would be... The Descendants I thought was good, and I ended up rewatching it a few years ago. I was like, it's just sad. It's just such a sad movie that the humor doesn't really hit me. And I like Clooney a lot, but...
I like Clooney. I think he's a really good actor.
Have you
I think
ever
he's
seen The
underrated.
American?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a film that nobody talks about.
Yeah, I think he's underrated as an actor. But well, actually, one more on the
Alexander Payne?
no, not Alexander Payne. One more on the I don't understand the critical acclaim behind it, and it actually just came out 2 years ago. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
It was not as good as I thought it should.
I didn't care for it at all.
And I like that director.
Like In
Bruges.
Yeah, In Bruges, great. 7 Psychopaths, I think.
Seven Psychopaths was really good.
But I did not care for that movie in the slightest.
I thought I was disappointed because the trailers made it look so good.
Yeah, they
and
really
the
did.
cast was insane.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Moon as much as everybody likes Moon.
Moon is fine.
I think it's... Okay, so here's the thing. I need to remember. We'll come back to this. What is a film that got crapped on that you think is actually really good?
This is going to be... My wife's going to love this.
Uh-oh.
Because she still gives me shit.
30 going on 30?
No. Spring Breakers.
Really? Okay.
I think Spring Breakers is an incredible film.
Okay.
And I think it's going for something that, in my personal opinion, people missed. But I love it. I think James Franco, I don't even like James Franco, but I think he's incredible in it.
Okay.
As Alien, I think it's...
Is that Harmony
Korine? What do you, how do you say that?
He directed that too.
Yeah. I love that movie, and I will go to bat for it anytime. Like, my wife despises it, and she regularly, like, anytime we pass it on Netflix, I'm just like, I stop at it, and she just, like, screams no. She's like,
God.
yeah. But I love it. I will defend that movie to anybody. What about you, man? I would love to know. I'm way more interested in what you don't like that is critically acclaimed, because I know you've got some interesting, because you've actually told me some interesting.
Tarantino.
Yeah, you've told me that.
I think Jackie Brown is the best film he's ever made.
Oh, no, we agreed on that.
I think Jackie Brown's the best film. I think Kill Bill is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them. I think the second one's better than the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I hated Hateful Eight. And I almost get angry at his films. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was fine.
Yeah.
It had some good scenes. PTA, Inherent Vice.
Yeah.
It just didn't hit me. And Irishman. Those are the two that I kind of wanted to talk about. That they just didn't hit me. And I think Irishman was another one of those. I'm going to go back to this.
Uh-huh.
I think we live in 2019. I think you don't have to do movies. I think if you want to do a 4-part series, I think The Irishman could have been a lot more interesting as a 4-part series.
You think so?
Yes. I think if you wanted to deep dive and everything, or I thought he needed to cut an hour of that damn film. Either add more to it or cut an hour out. Because it's hard in watching, So I will say, I think... now I'm trying to remember what the third thing is. 3 of the best things I've seen this year are The Boys on Amazon.
Oh, yeah, The Boys is great.
Watchmen.
Yeah. Also.
And shit, there's something else. There was something else. Yeah, but I'm like, no, it doesn't have to be a film anymore. And I think TV, but even okay, so something that was a film, El Camino. The Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah,
I was terrified because Breaking Bad and it ended so perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be damned if El Camino wasn't great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I watched Breaking
Irishman
Bad.
and Scorsese is somebody I really don't give a pass to. Like, my favorite of his is an odd one. That sounds like a pretentious twat when I say it. The one with Griffin Dunn.
After Hours is incredible.
After Hours is a coke-fueled... I love seeing New York at that time period.
Yeah.
New York at that time period
Yeah.
is my dream. Like, I love seeing that.
After Hours is awesome. Yeah. It's
After
great.
Hour... yeah, Scorsese's... You go back to even like... Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mean Streets is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy how good that is.
Yeah.
Taxi Driver is one of those that's like... I've seen it twice. And I think... And even like Kubrick. To bring up another...
Oh, okay.
Almost like Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
I've seen Clockwork Orange twice. I don't think... It and Taxi Driver. I don't think I ever need to see them again.
Yeah. I can understand that. Yeah.
Like... But 2001 is one that I will put on and force myself to look at it. Because I was like... The balls that it took to make this film at that time period.
Yeah.
The budget and everything.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like a lot of people. Tom Hanks has actually talked about. He was like in the early days. He was on a press junket for You've Got Mail, and he said he signed into AOL and their little groups, and he was like, I was in the 2001 Appreciation Society. He's like, I was literally the only person in there, which I love. Tom Hanks is almost somebody I will give benefit of the doubt no matter what.
Well, I mean, it's hard not to. Tom Hanks is...
Something else. Okay, I've got one that was critically panned, but I thought was good was the Wachowskis film with him.
Oh, Cloud Atlas?
Cloud Atlas
is good.
The first hour drags like a motherfucker, but the last 2 hours, which sounds crazy, but I was like, this is way better than it should be.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. What is something that I have crapped? I don't know. I don't know why Inherent Vice and Irishman didn't hit me. I don't know why. And both of them are like, these are so damn long. I think I will tell you a big part of our Inherent Vice. I hate that actress. I hate her with the... That she was also in one of the...
Catherine Waterston?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because she looks sad. And everything. She's like...
Yeah, she looks incredibly
and everything,
sad all the time.
I'm like... I love Joaquin. I think he's great. I finally watched Joker. He was fine. I think we talked about the other day. It's like I knew where they were going to go. It's hard being a comic book nerd, and of course this is where it's going to go to. What is something else critically acclaimed? Here we go. Hype. That was something else. I think a big reason some of the films I don't like are because they were too hyped to begin with. That by the time I saw them, I was like, Inglourious Bastards, Joker.
Well,
to where by the time I saw them, I was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I was like, I was expecting this. I was expecting so much better.
I just see, and, it's pretty impossible to, like, avoid hype now. Just given what, we were talking about earlier, like, we both know so much, like, of the backgrounds of certain movies and shit. And it's like, oh, I can't wait to see that. But it's like, it's hard to avoid hype.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it's gonna disappoint in some way.
Yeah.
It really is. It's just like of course I haven't seen Joker yet. I know I need to see it, but I know Avengers Endgame was like the culmination of everything, and yes, I did go see it in theaters, and I've seen all the Marvel movies, and I've liked them in different amounts, and I think Marvel's big strength is casting. I think they've cast everybody perfectly
except for one. And this is one Ryan and I agree. Captain Marvel was horribly cast.
Really?
Brie Larson is terrible.
Okay.
I did not like Captain. I thought she was too smug.
Uh-huh.
I think she's too small.
Mm-hmm.
There's a show called Vikings, and I actually think that woman is smaller than Brie Larson, but for whatever reason, she seems bigger and stronger.
Okay.
I don't know. Captain Marvel did not hit me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
But you talk about not batting 1,000. Like, see, the year Infinity War came out, I argued that was the best film of that year because it held so many different storylines and you never got bored. But I also realized, of course, the two directors directed TV, so they knew how to
Oh yeah.
do 10-minute chunks.
Yeah, the Russos. Yeah.
Yeah, that you didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, and Endgame was, I understood the hype around it. I understood why so many people were like, obviously, if you're a fan of comics, you know that most characters do not stay dead even in comics. So it's just like, you kind of knew that was coming, but there were definitely some real like moments in it, but ultimately I felt just kind of and let down is maybe too strong of a phrase, but
underwhelmed.
Yes. That's there were some things in it that I don't know. I just didn't love. And as a whole, I completely respect like the whole plan that Marvel Studios came up with. They took a huge risk on somebody like Robert Downey Jr., starting the whole thing. Like Iron Man could have been, it could have been awful. They could have really crashed and burned before they even got started. Yeah. And it's just like, you took a risk with a guy like that. And I love Robert Downey Jr., but it's just like at the time, he's a pretty big risk for a superhero franchise. Yeah. And I respect that. I respect just tying everything in. And like I mentioned earlier, like I think their casting has been just incredible. Like before Captain America, I didn't feel one way or another about Chris Evans.
I didn't like him.
Yeah, but now I think he's like he seems like a cool guy, and it's just like I like the Captain America movies. I think Winter Soldier is still the best Marvel film. I think
Winter Soldier is a great film. Yeah. Outside of I think it is the best. I think the three Captain America films are three of the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Marvel films.
Yeah, I will agree with that. And it's just like. But sorry, going back to your original hype, like of course I was going to see Endgame in theaters, and I was like, how are they going to figure out how to bring all these people back? And I was just like, okay. And then I saw it, and I was like, yes, they did, and it was fine.
I think, and it's funny because we mentioned this before. And I have a funny thing to mention about this film, a different film. Endgame was the closest I'd come to crying in a film. Like 2 or 3 times. There were 2 or 3 times in that film. Yeah. The closest was the one time when Ant-Man and his daughter reconnect.
Yeah, right.
That was like, fuck, guys, come on. And then the On Your Left. Like,
yeah, that's a good moment, man.
It's like, good Jesus, man. Like, but the closest I'd come to crying it, and I don't like to cry, and I don't, and I've gotten made fun of by women. It's like, you need to just let down your. I was like, no. The closest I'd come to crying in a theater since Arrival. The end of Arrival really hit me hard, and a friend of mine didn't like it as much. And you know what the difference between him and I are?
What?
I would still like to have kids. He's never wanted to have kids in his life. I was like, that's why that movie didn't hit you. Because you actually hate kids. I was like, of course that movie's not going to impact you as much. Going back to something we said. The end of Arrival, especially because it's that Max Richter song is one of my favorite songs ever. And that hitting and you realizing the scope of everything. Like
that's what made me emotional in that movie, was realizing. When you realize what you just said, the scope of everything, that's when that made me emotional. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah. That and before that was Toy Story 3. Because you got to think also Toy Story, I don't know if we've ever mentioned it. So I have taken my little sister we've seen every Pixar film since the first one.
Right.
Like the only one we didn't, there's only been 3 that we haven't seen in the theater, and it was A Bug's Life, and then we didn't see it. Incredibles 2 and Coco in the theater for whatever reason.
Okay.
But Toy Story 3, that end of Toy Story 3, when he donates the toys, I was like, I'm going to fucking lose it.
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking lose it. And I was like, I can't do it. And Stacy is just in there bawling. Like,
yeah, the movies I've cried at, I cried very hard at the end of The New World because I just think it's beautiful. Up.
Up. That.
Up,
opening.
I just could not. I went to see it in theater like blind. I was like, because I love Pixar shit, and I was just like, oh, okay, Up. Then I went to see it, and it just fucking walloped me, blindsided me. I was like sitting there in the theater, and I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And I didn't cry, but yeah, I agree with you. Arrival made me really emotional. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Nothing really recently has like struck me.
Inside Out
emotionally.
with Bing Bong or whatever his name was, that was tough.
Yeah.
Like that was hard. But yeah, in game, those two scenes, it's like, son of a bitch. I was like, you were just trying to make me, the on your left thing, just, it's like, God damn. Because I just loved Captain America in that moment. It was just him like, you're literally going to have to kill me.
Yeah.
He was like, I am going to fight you until you kill me.
Yeah.
And I am going to make you hurt.
Yeah.
Like, when he's strapped back in.
Yeah.
And just the look on his face of like, I don't have to do this. I'm not alone.
Yeah.
It's like, fucking damn it, man. It's like, but it's weird because it's people making fun of that. Like, I can't believe you'd cried. I was like, I've also been reading comics since I was like 4 years old. Of course I'm going to be emotional about these stupid movies. Well, it's like, also, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Can you think of something else that I like that I didn't like?
I was actually I was trying to think about that.
I don't like The Incredibles as much as everybody likes. Everybody's like,
I think it's fine.
I think The Iron Giant is so much better than anything else he's done.
I think that sorry, I'm looking at your okay, so I have a theory that the only Nicholas Winding Refn movie you like is Drive.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Shit, I forgot that we chatted about
Only God Forgives.
I hated that movie. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's gorgeous. I thought there were cool things, like it was all shot in the square.
Yeah.
Like if you really looked at it. But I think it was just like, I wish they would have made it focus more on the bad guy than Ryan Gosling's character. No, I liked the model film. I thought
Neon
that was
Demon?
fucked up and good.
Neon Demon, yeah.
And it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Shot. It made me uncomfortable because I was like, I feel like at any point somebody's eye's going to pop out. And it's going to be gross or something. But I thought Neon Demon was really good and really fucked me up.
Yeah.
But he's another one with the gore stuff. Kinda. Like, I have to look, as much as I love Drive, I still have to look away at that scene where
where he
Brooks,
runs his,
it's like, oh God. It's like, have you ever seen Murder in the First?
Yeah.
So the scene where he slashes his Achilles, like, I can't watch that. It like
Achilles trauma in any movie always gets me. I cannot deal with it.
There's another film that nobody talks about. Murder in the First is a great film.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it's Christian Slater and Kevin Bacon and Gary Oldman.
Oh wow, it is Christian Slater. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Kevin Bacon's another one of those weird ones to where. Did you ever see The Woodsman where he plays the pedophile?
The pedophile, yeah.
It's really good. That's another one I watched it the one time and I'm like, I am done.
Kevin Bacon, I think he can be a really interesting actor because I watched Cop Car recently.
Oh yeah.
And I thought it was just a good little tight movie and he was really menacing in it. And not that, I'm sure Kevin Bacon, he's an actor, but I don't know. I'd never seen him in a film where I felt like he was like a dangerous guy, but he was really menacing in that. And I was like, oh, okay.
I just thought of another one that I give a pass to. Jeff Nichols.
Oh, Jeff Nichols is great, dude.
Did you see, have we talked about Midnight
Special? Yeah, I think we have talked about it. Well, I think you and I personally have talked about it. I don't think
have you seen it?
Yeah.
It is what Tomorrowland should have been. Tomorrowland was fucking terrible.
Yeah, Tomorrowland's awful.
But Midnight Special is fucking Tomorrowland. It's a better version of Tomorrowland.
Midnight Special is so good, and highly recommend that for anybody listening. Also recommend Take Shelter.
Yes.
Michael Shannon.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
and my wife, if she'd ever smarten up, and I'm in love with Jessica Chastain. I am in love with her. Good God. Midnight Special, I hate that I can't, and I just said the thing that I don't want to, because I just went and saw it in the theater. I don't think I'd seen a trailer or anything. So for the first 20 minutes of that film, you're trying to figure out what the hell goes on.
Yeah.
And then once it starts getting into what the kid can do, it was just like, what the fuck? And it's top of, everybody in that film is amazing. Because, like, Michael Shannon, what's his name? The Australian guy, who's in Warriors, another film that's great. That nobody gives,
that Joel Edgerton, yeah.
That nobody gives credit to Warrior. And
Warrior is a good movie.
There's a buddy of mine, Greg, that I was like, you got to watch this movie.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't like MMA. It's like, this is not an MMA movie.
No.
And he actually said his favorite film is Fight Club. And what he said to me afterwards, he was like, that film is to MMA what Fight Club is to underground boxing.
Yeah.
I was like, you are exactly right. I was like, it's about brothers. It's about family.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what Warrior's about. But, and then Kirsten Dunst was great in that film, and Sam Shepard. And even there's the bigger guy that's his name's Bill Camp. And everything he's in. Now I've started noticing him. He was in The Night Of. He's been in all these things. I was like, holy shit, like he's one of the best actors working today. That Bill Camp is his name. But yeah, Jeff Nichols, everything he has done, even going back to like Shotgun Stories with him and Michael Shannon, was great.
Yeah, Mud's a great movie.
And Loving was painful and sad, but gorgeous.
Yep.
He's another one that is like, he should get an opportunity to actually, some studio should give him a budget, because he would, God knows what he could actually do with a budget.
Yeah, there's so many interesting directors that you feel like should just at least be given a shot with some money, you know?
Yeah, because I feel like he's almost like a Linkletter type, to where if you gave him money, he would, but his films are great, even without a budget. Like, Michael Shannon. Fuck, dude.
Michael Shannon, I will actually say that, yes, I give a pass to Michael Shannon. I think he's incredible in everything he's done.
So here's the weirdest thing. Do you know the first thing I saw Michael Shannon in that I actually loved him?
What?
And why I started paying attention? World Trade Center.
Oh, man.
He's the Marine guy, and he is so fantastic. That movie is actually very good, and I cried like a baby at the end of that. I went and saw it in the theater. And I just remember people shitting all over it online. They were like, it's too soon. We shouldn't do this. And I was like, if this is beautiful. If they are going to really do what's right. And Oliver Stone did what was right in that film.
Yeah.
And I just remember I went and saw it, and I saw it late. And at the end of it, people started filing out. But there were like 10 of us randomly. I was sitting there by myself. 10 of us randomly just sitting there crying. Just openly weeping at the end of that film.
Hey, I mean, that's a real departure for Oliver Stone, you know? I'm surprised he didn't have like half the Port Authority characters in the movie just doing rails. And
I did not see the Edward Snowden film because I couldn't take Joseph Gordon-Levitt's, the way he talked.
It's not very good.
Is it not? The way he talked, I was like, just talk normal.
So one more surprising, don't care who knows now, one maybe the hardest I've cried at an ending, and this is just going to make probably some people laugh, is the
Operation Dumbo Drop. Sorry.
No.
Oh, Joe Dirt 2. Still Dirt.
Well, of course. Billy Madison. No, I'm just kidding. The ending of Moneyball.
Dude, that was one that was hard not to. Was this little girl singing?
With his singing that song, and he's just driving, and the camera's just like slowly panning into his face, and I'm just like, this is crushing me.
Yeah.
It's just like, man.
That film is so... I think that film is amazing.
Oh, I loved it, yeah.
And I watch it all the time, but it's so weird in its stillness and its quietness. Yeah. And just all the little things with them. But
it's another one with Philip Seymour Hoffman. He's got a small part in it, but he just crushes it. And it's not a part you would think. No. Philip Seymour Hoffman is a baseball manager. What?
No, yeah. I think what got me before was when Hattie hit the home run.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing. I love This Will Destroy You, the band. And it was that song. The Mighty Rio Grande is the name of that song. And that, I was just like, fuck. But it was shot so weird in that it actually looked like a baseball stadium because it was kind of dark.
Yeah.
That's another weird guy that he's made some good films, but
Oh yeah, Bennett Miller.
Yeah, Trumbo. Philip Seymour Hoffman.
No, Capote. Yeah.
Capote, not Trumbo.
Yeah, Capote. That Moneyball.
The other one he did with Steve Carell was not that good.
No, Foxcatcher was not good.
And it's also like Rogan really went hard in the paint on that one. He was like,
did he?
He was like, there's such bullshit. And he was like, and it's stuff you didn't need to. He's like they show a fight scene and that guy, person A wasn't fighting when this guy was fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you, that's such a little thing, but it takes me out of a movie. I was like, I totally get that.
Yeah. I did not like Foxcatcher. I thought it was like, I felt like Steve Carell's obvious attempt at an Oscar.
Yeah. Although in him, the film he did with Keira Knightley, Searching for a Friend at the End of the World, was really good.
Yeah.
Was really good.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to think. Anything that's critically acclaimed. I don't know. I think there's way more movies that, I think, even though I've got it over there, I don't think Deadpool and Deadpool 2 are as good as everybody gives them credit for.
I actually like Deadpool 2 way more than Deadpool.
I think they're interesting.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking over there. Okay, here's one thing you and I disagree a little bit on. I actually like The Illusionist more than I liked.
Really?
Yeah.
And I like The Illusionist, but I really liked The Prestige.
More than I like The Prestige. I think, but I also went into The Prestige with super high expectations.
Really?
Yeah, and but The Illusionist, I don't know why The Illusionist hit me a lot harder.
Yeah.
Than, I don't know. And I saw them about the same time. I think Kick-Ass is a lot better than anybody gives. Now I'm just looking. I wish Rian Johnson and Edgar Wright would make more movies.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts. I did not like Baby Driver.
No, I didn't like Baby Driver either.
I thought the last section, the third act with John Hamm was great, but I think leading up to that it was too cool. Yeah, I didn't like The World's End, but I loved.
Oh God, Hot Fuzz's pantheon. You know, that's high level comedy.
But Rian Johnson, the fact that Rian Johnson doesn't make more movies is ridiculous.
No, I know,
because his batting average is great.
Oh, dude,
you think Brick,
Brothers Bloom, Looper. I mean, dying to see Knives Out. I'm upset I have not seen it.
Good.
But
it's so good. It's so good. The John Wick trilogy has been some of my favorite shit coming out. I just remember watching I got to the end of the second one and literally saying to myself, that was better than it had any right to be.
Yeah, I love that trilogy.
And the third one, you've seen the third one.
Yes, yeah.
The knife fighting sequence at the begining and the fact that it just keeps going.
Yes.
But I was like,
those movies
holy shit.
So good.
Holy shit.
I remember one, I can't remember who it was. I used to follow somebody on Twitter that was really funny, but he I don't know, he deleted his account or something, but he would talk about movies and he, after he saw the first John Wick, he was like, I have a theory that any movie that features a club scene, if you fuck up the club scene, it's going to be a bad movie. And then he went ... John Wick does not fuck up its club scene.
Yeah. In Collateral.
Yeah.
Do not fuck up the...
Oh, God, that club scene in Collateral. Ooh, boy.
So Dad made Stacy watch John Wick. And he started out and he was like... And she's like, isn't that the one where the dog dies? He's like... And he was like, you gotta just keep with it,
yeah.
Because trust me, he gets everybody back for doing that. And he said they made it to the club scene in John Wick, and Stacy turned and went, "Wow, he really is doing like paying back everybody for killing his dog." She was mind blown. She was like, "Holy shit!" And I was like, "Yeah, you just kind of gotta get through it." Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. The Irishman and Inherent Vice. I hate to keep coming back to. So, what is it? Do you think? I actually like The Master a lot.
The Master,
even though it was uncomfortable as shit.
Yeah, it's a hard movie to watch, but it's great. Yeah. So you want
I don't want a reasoning, but I'm just curious. Like The Irishman. Like I think the problem I had with it is every time they walked, I could see that they were 70-year-old men, and I think that took me out of it a bit.
See. The Irishman hit me so hard because I think, and this is just my opinion, I think Scorsese made it as an old man recognizing, like, he himself is probably close to death.
Okay.
I feel like, and he is trying, like, I think it's a movie about recognizing the legacy you leave on the world.
Okay.
I think that's why, you know, Frank Sheeran in the movie, like, literally his only legacy was, allegedly, you know, we don't know if it's true or not, his only legacy was, well, he killed Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah.
He killed his best friend. That's his only legacy, and it's meaningless in the end. And I think it's Scorsese, like, trying to, I think it's like kind of a meta commentary on Scorsese looking at his legacy. Like, for a lot of people, Scorsese's like the mob movie guy.
Yeah.
Even though he's so much more than that. But for a lot of people, it's like, okay, you guys think I'm the mob movie guy? All right. I'm going to give you 3 hours of a mob movie where nobody lives. That's why I think it's very telling that every time he introduces a new mobster, he puts how they died at the end.
Okay.
Like, this is whoever shot in the face or something.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I think it's just and it's my personal reading of it. You know, everybody gets from movies what they get, but I just thought it was incredibly, like, ballsy to just not saying he pointed the camera at himself, but he just, like, confronts his own legacy of these gangster movies, these actors that are associated with gangster movies. And the movie fucking ends with the gangster that everybody associates with, a cripple in a nursing home.
Yeah.
And his only legacy is, I shot my friend in the face and now I'm going to die alone. I just think that's incredibly ballsy, because as much as I love Goodfellas, you know, a lot of people die in that movie, this and that, and I don't really think it's, you know, some people have said, well, Scorsese likes to glorify. Not really.
No, that was taken directly from what's his name's life.
Yeah, it is, you know, and people are like, well, Wolf of Wall Street, and I'm like, if you think Wolf of Wall Street is glorifying what a piece of shit Jordan Belfort is, then you have some issues with your own fucking morals. But I just think it's like, I felt like it was just incredibly daring to just say, all right, you all think I'm the mob movie guy. Here is the painful reality of growing old and this life and the toll it takes. And guess what? In the end, I felt like it was extremely depressing end. It just kind of felt like everyone dies, nothing matters, and your legacy is really all that's going to matter. And what is your legacy?
Okay.
That you maybe killed Jimmy Hoffa, nobody knows for sure, or that you just don't have, your family left you and you're dying in a old folks home.
A broken man.
Yeah. So, and again, I have no qualms with, like, people talking about the length. I think to an extent they're right. I personally didn't have a problem with the length, but I was really invested in the movie. And yeah, but I don't begrudge anybody's, like, criticisms of it, for sure. And I too had, like, not that I really had issues with the de-aging, but you mentioning, like, them walking.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I can totally see what you're talking about with
Yeah.
that. And I can get that. I can get that as a criticism. And for some people, like, that'll take them out of a movie. And I get that too.
I think that kind of took me out. I hate to say this, I think that it kept focusing on the one daughter and the misuse of Anna Paquin. It was like, just put some other actress in there. You don't have to have Anna Paquin if you're not going to give her meat. She's a great actress if you're not giving her a lot to... The fact that it kept focusing on the one daughter kind of bummed me. I was like, really? Just one daughter? Okay. I don't know. I think I was also super hyped for it.
Sure, yeah.
To see Joe Pesci come back.
Yeah.
Because De Niro's 2 films he's directed. Bronx Tale
and the CIA movie.
The one Matt Damon and Angelina Jolie.
The Good Shepherd. That's
Good
it,
Shepherd.
yeah.
Both those are great films. I fucking love Bronx Tale.
Yeah.
Joe Pesci is in both of those in very minor roles and knocked it out of the park in both of those. To see, and Pesci has talked about, he's said about returning to acting now, which is awesome. I don't know why. Just
and as far as as far as Inherent Vice goes, I love it.
I think those are just two I like giving you shit about.
Oh no,
I
I'll
forgot about Only
take it,
God Forgives. I forgot about Only God Forgives.
Well, Only God Forgives, I would have to like sit down and write a dissertation on.
It's like, is it because it's how it's shot, or that it subverts that you have the biggest actor in the world and you're actually making...
Oh yeah, I think it's a movie about how, again, opinions and whatnot, and readings of film, but I think Only God Forgives is a scathing takedown of toxic masculinity. I think the whole movie is these terrible men that think they're bigger and better than they are. Like
Gosling and his brothers.
I love the scene in that movie where it's slow motion and he's walking into that ring because he's gonna fight the small guy, the small police chief, and the music's going and you think it's gonna be like this epic fight, and he gets his ass handed to him in 30 seconds. And I was like, I remember seeing that in the theater and just laughing. Like, I thought it was genius to take the guy who was so silent and strong and drive, and then reduce him to just like this wimpy dude who thinks he's tougher than he is at all. But I digress from my point. Inherent Vice, I think, is genius because I think it's a critique of both. I think it's an equal critique of how shitty and dumb the like stoner hippie movement was, but also how shitty the authoritarian like arm of like police law was. And I think it perfectly encapsulated in one scene, and it's close to the end of the movie. Where Josh Brolin's Bigfoot Bjornsson kicks in Joaquin Phoenix's door, and I think it's just a brilliant encapsulation of kicks in the door, doesn't say shit to him, kicks in the door because he's an authority figure, while the stoner is down on the ground with a pile of weed in front of him, and he takes it by the handful and eats it and just stares him down. And I was blown away by that scene. I was like, that is literally just the perfect encapsulation of an authoritarian regime literally taking and eating the thing that means the most to like hippie culture. Just I will eat and crush your drugs in front of you. And that I just felt, and I think it's a funny movie. Like
that may be one. I think it may have been Catherine Watterson took me out of it.
Oh so much. and I don't really like her as an actress anyway. I thought she was not very good in that last Alien movie, Alien Covenant. I didn't think she was good in that movie at all. But just that scene where Josh Brolin is driving and he's eating that popsicle, but just like the look on Joaquin Phoenix's face as he's just watching him eat it, and it's just fucking funny. And there's just like random small roles for like big actors in that movie. I think is just, it's like Benicio del Toro's in 2 scenes.
Oh yeah. It's maybe, that,
with like 3 total minutes of screen time, and I'm like, that's awesome. Reese Witherspoon is there for like a scene, I think.
Maybe 2. Yeah. I think she comes back.
Martin Short is this weird coked out like.
I just need to watch it again.
And
so I almost wonder, have you ever seen The Long Goodbye?
Oh,
yeah.
Jody, I just got it for Christmas on Blu-ray. Somebody finally got it for me. Yes. But yes, I love that movie.
I think of the parallels between Inherent Vice and Long Goodbye.
Yeah, totally. And that's a good point. Yeah.
But I've mentioned that about Unforgiven, Lost Highway, about how I used to watch. I almost think now we're so inundated with everything. There's so much shit coming out. But I think also now, if Inherent Vice had come out in 97, that may be one of my favorite films ever.
Yeah.
Because I may have rewatched it like I did all these other ones.
Yeah, no, I can get that.
But now it's like, well, fuck, I can't do that because I still got to watch this, and I still got to watch. There's so much shit now.
Oh, no, and I 100% agree with you on that. That's what I'm just like, oh, no, but I got to see this too.
Yeah.
I got to see this too. And it's just like, it's hard to, like this year, I've got a massive blind spot on like still a few movies. Like I've heard like people talk about this movie called Portrait of a Lady on Fire is supposed to be like this incredible movie. And, I literally just caught up with Parasite. And
I'm trying to remember if this is earlier this year or late last year. Fast Color.
Yeah, and I saw that was streaming on something. I
think
literally
it
was
may have been late last year. But
Yeah.
that was a great movie.
Mhm.
And it was like another one. The main actress had been in some stuff.
Mhm.
She has that long, I can't remember her name, but it's like came out of nowhere, almost like Chronicle, to where it's like, oh, yeah, this is a superhero movie that nobody realizes is a superhero
Yeah,
movie.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm still dying to see The Lighthouse. I'm really fucking dying to see Uncut Gems, like
Uncut Gems looks, although
Yeah.
I keep hearing more about it that's kind of pushing me down.
really.
Like, they're like, oh, yeah, it's really funny. I was like, I don't want that to be really funny.
Yeah.
I want it to be dark. Like,
Yeah.
I want it to be, I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, hated Punch Drunk Love. But I think it's also, I saw it the hype thing. I saw it much after, and I thought he was such an angry, oppressed person. I don't know. That movie also did not hit me well.
Yeah. Punch Drunk Love is my least favorite of PTA. It's easily, to me, in my opinion, the
See,
weakest.
for me, I feel like sometimes I sound like a pretentious twat when I say this, but Hard 8 is my favorite PTA film.
Really? I'll go Boogie Nights is still my favorite PTA
Okay.
film. Yeah. I fucking love Boogie Nights, but
Boogie Nights, I think Magnolia was one of those that I've seen it a couple times, and I was like, I'm good. I was like, it was fascinating.
mhm.
It was ballsy. Coming off of Boogie Nights to do something that weird.
Yeah. To end your movie with
Vignette-
frogs.
Yeah, Vignette. There Will Be Blood. I think it's, but Hard 8.
Hard 8's a great movie.
Good God. It's so good. And I hate Gwyneth Paltrow. But Hard 8 is so well done. Where do you fall on Fincher?
Fincher, another one of the, if I extended it to a top 10, Zodiac would be in there.
Okay.
I love Zodiac. I think it's an incredible movie. But I didn't love Gone Girl. Gone Girl was fine.
I thought Gone Girl was terrible.
I didn't love Benjamin Button. It was
I
fine.
liked Benjamin Button.
Hey, it was fine. I didn't,
I thought the scope of that film was kind of fascinating.
but
Gone Girl, as a single man, I hate Gone Girl. Because I have dated girls who made up entire storylines of what happened. I was like, nope, no, that happened.
yeah, I know,
I
Jody.
have all the texts. I have everything to
I'm
prove.
aware, Jody. I listened to your epic dating history episodes.
Oh, I can't wait for Kristen to come back down here. We have more stories to tell.
Hey,
We had one story to pop up on your way up here to get a message from a girl going, she's like, so how do you, all of a sudden she's like, it was going really well. We were messaging back and forth. And it was like, so what do you feel about religion? I was like, so I went back and looked at her profile. I was like, okay, she doesn't have anything on here about religion. I can't see anything. So I was like, here's what I think. It's like, I've read everything. I've read the Quran. I've read the Torah. I've read
yeah,
the Satanic Bible. I've read anything you can imagine.
yeah,
And this is why I came down to the religion, your faith or whatever you do or do not believe in is very personal.
yeah,
And it's nobody else's opinion. Nobody else should matter. And so she's like, oh, okay, cool. And then we kept talking, and then I got this big, long, so my faith is very important to me. And all. I was like, okay, you need to put that shit on your profile. I was like, because you set me up for the wrong answer. I was like, also, somebody you never, God, I wish, although I'm sure Ryan does not have as good an opinion as I do. The two people that I saw that were in the most love with one another was Granny and Papa.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he ever set one foot in a church, and she was there 2 or 3 times a week.
Wow.
And they are the most in love couple I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And have, because he fought in the Pacific during World War II and saw some gnarly shit.
Yeah.
And was also a rough and tumble kid before he went over. Like, he was literally a street tough with him and Hank with the cigarettes. And he got back and he was like, nope, I'm done with all that. I want to get married. I want to have kids. Like all that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're an idiot if you think just because we've not seen the same shit. Of course we're not going to believe the exact same way.
Right.
It's like, but okay, good. Go away. Go away now.
But anyway, yeah. Gone
sorry.
Girl Fincher. No, that's
The Gone Girl, yeah. I was just sitting there thinking the whole time, I was like, oh God, I've dated this chick. I think I still think Seven's his best movie.
And see, you're talking about like try not to make yourself sound pretentious and stuff. I think David Fincher's best movie is The Game.
The Game is fantastic.
The Game is awesome. I love that movie.
That's another gutsy film that they gave a young director that much latitude to do a weird ass film.
Yeah.
Because it was even, I like the actress in that a lot, and she's been in, not a lot, but she's always solid in everything. I think she was the one that was in, I know He Who Shall Not Be Named, Mel Gibson. I actually like Mel Gibson a lot. I know that's not awesome in 2019. Braveheart's ungodly that it felt like a 1950s, 1960s.
It really did feel like one of those, yeah.
But the film he did with, what's his name? The guy who wrote L.A. Confidential. Brian
Payback.
Payback is fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's the woman who plays his ex-wife in that.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's the one who's in the game. Deborah
Kara Unger. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
She's awesome in everything she's in. Yeah.
Mel Gibson is, he's Mel Gibson. He's got his issues, but I don't know if you saw Dragged Across Concrete. It's really good.
Because that's another one of those that director, that and Bone Tomahawk, they were so gory.
Oh.
I've heard that. I was like, I don't really want to see this.
Dragged Across Concrete is not like super gory. It's definitely way less gory than Bone Tomahawk.
I really wanted to see Bone Tomahawk, but I was like, I don't think I can stomach seeing some of the scenes.
Bone Tomahawk, I loved Bone Tomahawk, but it definitely towards the end, it's very harrowing.
Yeah. Dragged Across Concrete.
Yeah. And I thought Mel Gibson, Apocalypto is an insane movie.
I thought you were going to say Daddy's Home 2.
Daddy's Home 2.
Fantastic.
Daddy's Home 2, underrated masterpiece of the.
Honestly, in seeing that trailer, because I'm trying to remember who plays Will Ferrell's dad. Is it John Lithgow?
It's John Lithgow, yeah.
And that they're like kissing on the lips, and then I was like, actually, this looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I was like, this looks so damn funny.
Yeah.
Like, just the two of them, the difference between the two of them.
But Apocalypto is an insane movie. I just think that's just to make a movie about like the Mayans. You look at its commercial appeal. There is none because it's in a dialect that's no longer around, and it's just like, I'm just going to make an insane action movie based around Mayans.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be in it. I'm only directing it. It's a bunch of unknowns, but it's fucking crazy and wildly violent. Like that movie is, and it's beautiful. Like that movie's got some striking images in it. And it's just like, I didn't love The Passion. I'm not a religious guy. I definitely thought it was like, to me, it meant nothing because I, not religious, but I also couldn't understand how it would mean something to people that are religious, because instead of like showing the scope of things that, Jesus gave up to save humanity, and instead it came across as, hey guys, you should feel bad because your sins are just killed the shit out of Jesus.
They tortured the shit
as violent as possible. Yeah. They just destroyed Jesus, and it's just like, yeah, all right.
I always thought Apocalypto felt like him channeling Malick.
Oh yeah, that's a good call.
Why am I forgetting the one with Brad Pitt and Jessica Chastain?
Oh, Tree of Life.
Tree of Life.
Mm-hmm.
That was one I saw in the theater and walked out, and I was like, I know I don't understand half of what I saw, but fuck, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I just remember walking out just going, and same thing, like, I don't know that I ever need to see that again, but that was fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, Tree of Life is, yeah.
I did not see all the ones he's done since. I have not seen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Malick guy, so, but he still doesn't get a pass. Like, I didn't like,
there's the one he did on the Austin music scene.
Yeah, that's the one. I didn't
with
like
Fassbender.
Song to Song.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
To the Wonder, is that the Ben Affleck?
To the Wonder is the Ben Affleck and Rachel McAdams.
Yeah,
it's. Okay.
I haven't seen any of those. Like they just didn't look interesting. Yeah. It didn't look like he was taking a chance anymore. See, for me,
but speaking of another cinematographer,
Days of Heaven.
Days of Heaven is incredible. But speaking of another cinematographer that will always get a pass is Lubezki.
Oh yeah.
shot all of his stuff. And,
Yeah.
you know, I think he's incredible.
Well, that's like, I can't remember if we talked about this. Have you seen 3 O'Clock High?
No.
You need to watch 3 O'Clock High.
Okay.
That's my, on the other podcast, that's my slept on movie.
Okay.
3 O'Clock High stars, I'm trying to think who you would know in it. Casey Shamosko, do you know from Young Guns?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Casey Shamosko's the main guy.
Yeah.
Richard Tyson, who was in that
I know
stupid...
I know who Richard Tyson is.
God. But he was another one of those that felt like a Brando or something type.
Yeah.
What was he in that Two Moon Junction?
Yeah.
With what's her name from? Oh God, damn that movie Skinamax. We won't talk about that. A lot of boobs in that film. When I was a young boy.
Yes.
Those two. It's got Jeffrey Tambor. It's got what's his name from the character actor from Hard 8?
Philip Baker Hall.
Philip Baker Hall. It's got the guy who was the one in charge of the X-Files. Mitch Pileggi is in it.
Oh yeah.
Like it's this crazy movie, but I think it was shot by like Barry Levinson or something. Not Levinson. Whoever Tak Fujimoto. Whoever it was shot by. It is this crazy film, and it's about Casey Shamosko. And a new guy comes to town, and it comes to the school, and it's like a Western. And it's like he doesn't like being touched, and Casey Shamosko touches him. And then they have a fight at 3 o'clock. And just the way it's shot and the pacing and everything. And actually, Paul Feig is in it as a hall monitor.
Paul Feig?
Paul Feig.
Really?
Yes. But it is, and it's the same thing. It's like an hour and a half long, and it's just like, holy shit, this is insane. Like this movie that nobody... My buddy, the Todd, and I refer to him as HBO movies.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, you would just watch anything because it was on HBO. And so we would watch all these weird films growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Like any of the Savage Steve Holland films. Even he did one about how I got into college that was weird with Laura Flynn Boyle. But,
Well, maybe one day, Central Cinema will do a retrospective on it, and you can head over there.
Motherfucker. I'm going to stab you with this damn pen. What'd you say about Rock with his finger in your face? I'm bigger than him now. Oh, God. We can't go down that path.
No, that would be incriminating to both of us.
Okay, not that I'm going to keep harping. The Inherent Vice and The Irishman, I wonder nowadays, too. I still wonder, like, how do you feel about movie versus TV? Because I mentioned that earlier, and you kind of smiled.
The reason I was smiling is because I was going to actually ask you if, like, and this is a question I have for you. Do you feel like the TV has maybe kind of like taken over in like format wise? Like, do you think it's like you can find more riches in like TV, like serialized TV, like all the shows we mentioned, like how great they are because they're so dense, like something like a Breaking Bad, like you mentioned Justified is incredible.
Can I give you a perfect analogy?
Okay.
Saving Private Ryan is a great film.
Mm-hmm.
Then you watch Band of Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Saving Private Ryan cannot hold a candle to Band of Brothers.
Right.
Just because it can really dive deep in those characters and build everybody out to where it's like, Saving Private Ryan did something in 2 hours that Band of Brothers took 12 hours and did it so much better.
Yeah.
I think there's been a lot of times here's a weird one. The stupid Fantastic Four film that Josh Trank did.
Yeah.
I went and saw that in the theater, and at the end of it, I said, that should have been a longer film.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, because you were supposed to automatically have buy-in to all these characters.
I didn't see it, but wasn't it only like 90 minutes long?
No. No, I don't think it was. Oh. But you had like no buy-in to the characters. It's like you had great actors from top to bottom. Mm-hmm. It's like you had this great idea. I liked his scope and everything, and it just... But I feel like it tanked because people wanted it to tank. Mm-hmm. I feel like it jumped to certain points. I was like, no, this is much better than people give it credit for.
Yeah.
But it should have been a longer film. Like, you need to develop those characters more, or you needed it to be a TV series or something.
Well, and obviously, like TV series have like certain advantages over movies. Like you can, like you said, you can't really do a 4-hour movie because people aren't going to like want to sit for a whole 4-hour movie. But in a lot of ways, like TV is like really taking like the artistry to another level. It's just like I think, not that they followed the comic really at all, but besides the characters, but Watchmen, you can make it that they finally got it to work, but as a series,
I liked how Lindelof has said after that came out. He said, "I don't know. I don't have season 2 in me."
Yeah,
and he's like, "There probably will be because this was wildly successful."
Sure, yeah.
I do not have it in me.
Yeah,
and I was like, I wish HBO would just let that be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't. I still have not seen Chernobyl, and I keep hearing how Chernobyl is great. So
I thought it was really good. Yeah.
And it's like 6 episodes.
It's just 6 episodes. Yeah.
So it's 6 hours.
Yep.
So imagine if they had to cut that down to a 2-hour movie.
Of course, yeah.
Like it would have not had the impact. It would have not.
Yeah, and there's just and you're right. There's advantages that TV has, but like the artistry of TV now has like it's up there with some of the greatest movies. You look at just some of the series that have come out over the past.
Well, look at like the budget of each episode of Game of Thrones.
Oh God, yeah.
But Kevin Smith brought it because I keep mentioning because I love him to death. He was like, but if you really think about it, he's like, I think it's every episode had like a $15 or $20 million budget per episode.
I think so, yeah.
So he was like, so you essentially got out of a 10 episode series. You paid $200 million for 10 hours of TV. 10 hours.
Yeah.
He's like, hell, they spent $200 million on pieces of shit, on cats. He was like, no, they did it right. Like, they figured out how to do it right.
Yeah.
It's like,
absolutely.
I don't know. That's when it's hard because can be good. But then you look at what the majority of the TV series are, and they suck. Almost anything on CBS or ABC. The only good show that I really can't. I used to love Last Man on Earth before it ended.
Oh yeah, well that was a good show.
And The Good Place is great.
Yeah, The Good Place.
But the fact that they know that it's going to end, and they're like, no, we're not going to do. This is not Big Bang Theory.
It's a lot better when you give creators license to like map out like this show has a clear beginning, middle, and end, and we know the structure, we know how it's going to go, and like you said, it's just like you felt like some shit like the Big Bang Theory. It's like, no, it's just really popular, so we're just going to keep making it forever, and
which it's fine. It has its place. Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
but it's also like, as much as I want to like the Batman film that's coming out, I don't like that they keep adding bad guys. I'm like, you don't have to cram everything into one thing.
No.
It's like, you can just make a good movie. You don't have to cram. They're like, oh yeah, they added this person is this and this person is this. Yeah. It's like, how about you make one good movie?
Yeah.
How about you make, like, because I'm looking at it, that year, I think it was it Dawn? I'm trying to remember which one of the Planet of the Apes films was the second one. Not the one with James Franco, but the second one.
I think Dawn is the second one, because I think Rise is the first one.
I think Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was my best film for that year. Because the first 30 minutes does not have one word of dialogue.
Yeah.
And it was insane, and that they had the guts to just, nope, this is work. And it's that director who's doing the Batman. I thought the third one was terrible. The third one was... Because Woody Harrelson was supposed to play this menacing, and he just didn't. Yeah. I like Woody Harrelson a lot.
Oh yeah, Woody Harrelson's great, but
he's not menacing at all in that film. I think he's also just too small. Again, Michael Shannon. Michael Shannon's like 6'3".
Yeah, exactly.
Big imposing dude.
And I just think, just like TV versus movies, stuff like that, and I always use it. I always hold it up as an example of something that just would not have worked as a movie, but you give the first season of True Detective.
Yeah.
You give a director like that outline. You get to make every episode. It was like, I think it was eight episodes.
Was it? I thought it was 10.
Maybe you could be right.
Whatever.
But that same director, you get to establish like a through line on each episode. Every episode has like that style of that director.
Yeah.
I just think that's an incredible idea. And I think it's why season 2 was just such dog shit. Because you've got like different directors for every episode and they're established different styles. And I just think like it's the first season, you know, I don't think you can make a true detective movie.
No.
Because it's like,
you need to let it breathe.
yeah. And you couldn't get away with like some of that, like just the whole like mythology behind it. Like, you know, all the Yellow King stuff and like all that. It's just like, you couldn't do that. I don't think you could do that with like a movie. And it's just, yeah.
No, but I also think of like the world we live in now and like, almost thinking about it from a comic book perspective, like the expanded universe.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could take Looper and make a very interesting TV show.
Oh, hell
on
yeah.
Looper.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, I think we've hit a point to where it's almost like the governor's off.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of just do whatever you want. I watched Preacher season 1. Preacher, the comic book, is maybe one of my favorite pieces of literature.
Yeah.
From beginning to end. Preacher may be the best thing that's ever been written.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Yeah.
That TV series was dog shit. It was terrible. And it was terrible in how they changed some of the characters.
Yeah.
And some of it was, and this is not PC to say, but it's like, we have to make Tulip like this MacGyver type badass that can make a rocket launcher. It's like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
She's a badass in the comic.
Yeah.
Just by being tough. You don't have to make her like any. What the hell are you doing? But I also look at that like, no, give it like 4 years. They'll make a good one.
Yeah.
That's like right now with like, they've been for years trying to make the Sandman.
Oh, yeah.
And finally they were like, no, we need to do this as an HBO series. It's like, yeah, you do. That's what I said about Preacher forever. I was like, you need to make Preacher an HBO series. I said this in the early 2000s when it was fresh. And just every issue be an episode.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you can do that with Sandman. I think if you made Sandman, they keep trying to make it into a film. Mm-hmm. Which there was one point where like Joseph Gordon-Levitt was going to play Sandman and direct it. And I was like, no. He's like 5'6". No.
Yeah.
Sandman is very, I was like, there's no reason why in 2019 you don't do that right.
Yeah.
There's absolutely, you're going to throw money at it. You could take the Sandman and make it one of the greatest things ever made.
Yeah.
If you do it right. And you've got Neil Gaiman who's still alive. Let him help write and showrun and like, but don't try and force that in a movie just because somebody wants to make it a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, give that to somebody like the guy who did True Detective season 1. Give that to somebody like that. Again, I go back to what we talked about in the beginning. The fact that these latest 3 Star Wars films, they didn't sit down in a room for 2 years and figure out an arc over 3 films is ridiculous.
Yeah, and it clearly shows.
Yeah. Yeah, because even you have characters that change from film. Like, I actually liked Finn in the first one, and then the second 2 was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's weird to me. It's like you're spending all that money. Another thing Kevin Smith talked about is like marketing of movies, and he was talking about, was it like Jay and Silent Bob reboot? He was like, it cost us $10 million to make it. If we wanted to advertise it, it would have cost us $20 million. Like, he broke down the finances for $20 million to advertise it. He's like, now we're having to give the investors $30 million back. And he's like, plus if we take it to a movie theater, we only get half of that money. So we're having to, and he was like, no, I'll just take it out on my own and do what I want. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand now. I'm hoping with shit like The Watchmen, with Chernobyl, with, I don't know. I'm hoping with Sandman, people will figure out you don't have to do movies. Mm-hmm. Or I liked what they were saying in the beginning of like The Stand, the Stephen King. Like Ron Howard originally was going to do like a movie, a TV series.
Yeah.
I was like, why not? Yeah. It's 2019.
Yeah.
Why the hell not do something like that?
That's a really, I do think that's an interesting statement you make. Is it's a subtly smart statement to say, like, I wish people would realize that they don't always have to make a movie.
Yeah.
It's in. I'm not I'm not saying it like in a jokey way. It's like that's a smart.
Yeah.
Like, I wish people would realize that you don't always. It doesn't always have to be a movie.
No.
Yeah.
Because how often do like Green Lantern is a great example.
Yeah.
You're making it, and it has all these beats that you've seen a million fucking times before.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, who gives a shit? Like, why do you have to make it a movie? Like, it doesn't make sense. Or it's like Justice League was originally supposed to be 2 movies.
Yeah.
And they just kept hemming and hawing and screwing with that damn thing. But then you can make one-off movies. But then you can make a one-off movie. Did you ever see The Secret Life of Walter Mitty? With Ben
Stiller?
Yeah.
I don't think I have.
You need to see it.
Okay.
It's gorgeous. I'm not a big Kristen Wiig fan. I'm not a huge Ben Stiller fan. Yeah, shit. I should give you a list of movies. Have you ever seen Zero Effect?
Yeah.
Zero Effect is
Bill Pullman, yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And so weird and quirky.
Yeah, it is.
But there's a great point. Like Zero Effect, Permanent Midnight are the 2 that got me around on Ben Stiller.
Mm-hmm.
Tropic Thunder, just going to Ben Stiller world. Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Just one film, and that's fine.
Yeah.
It's 2019. Like, I don't understand the mindset of all this. Like, it doesn't even have to be a 2-hour-long film. If you want to make a short that's 20 minutes long.
Except one thing you're wrong about, Jody, is now it's 2020.
Oh, my God. That's called, yeah. All right. Is there anything we haven't touched upon?
I just, to round it out, I think the perfect thing to talk about seeing is how it is 2020 today. What was your favorite film of the last decade?
I may have to look over there at what.
He's getting up. He's approaching his collection to make his educated decision.
See, I don't know. I would almost have to look at something to figure out. I think I could make random guesses at what the last decade. I think Midnight Special's way up there. I think Winter Soldier is way up there.
Winter Soldier's great.
I think Skyfall may be up there.
Skyfall's awesome.
I think that's hard without looking at something in front of me. Like being able to look at like the Oscar list or something to figure out what's come out in 10 years.
Yeah.
I think there are ones that have surprised me. I think John Wick surprised me.
Oh, for sure. The whole series has surprised me.
Yeah, I don't know. That'd be a harder one. I'd have to actually go back and look at what's come out in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
That's really hit me. Cats, of course.
That's probably on everybody's top 10.
See, and I think everything blends together. Because I think of like True Detective.
Yeah.
I think I wrap everything into like TV series and stuff too. Or documentaries like The Staircase.
Yeah.
Or have you seen Three Identical
Strangers?
Strangers, yeah. That was fantastic. Yeah, I think it'd be hard to just narrow it down to a few films. I don't know. I would be almost more curious what my most disappointed film was in the last 10 years. I think Ghostbusters was my most disappointed film.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was not good.
Yeah.
But it's not for me.
Yeah. I could see that.
Because I loved Ghostbusters growing up, and I think you had the cast and everything to make a really good film, and they screwed the pooch.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you know what your favorite film is in the past 10 years?
I do.
Uh-oh.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Fuck, that would be in the top 10 for me too.
That movie just absolutely fucking blew me away. When I saw that in the theater, I was like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So much, just the balls to make a 2.5 hour chase movie.
Yeah, that then turns around and goes back.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, yeah. See, I think I could go through a bunch.
Oh, absolutely.
I still think, because 10 years I'm going back, it's like, well, one that I still have not mentioned on this that I've mentioned to you time and time again is Tron Legacy, but I think we're past the 10-year mark. I think that was actually 2009.
Really? For some reason, I thought I remember it coming out in 2010, but maybe not.
If that falls within the 10 years, I think Tron Legacy may be. And I think nobody gives it credit. I think you can't look, if you actually go back and watch the original Tron, it is not very good.
No.
It's kind of boring, but Tron Legacy is so well done. Yeah. That may be
I
it.
agree with that.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome, man.